big up, and welcome to the Liverpool 12th Man Show. I am the Liverpool 12th Man, and we have Scouse Lee, and we have the Irishman with us today. How are you doing, Irishman?
I'm absolutely. I was going to say knackered. I shouldn't say knackered. I'm absolutely shattered.
Okay. Knackered and shattered.
Yeah.
And Lee, how are you doing today too, as well?
I'm not bad. I remember being shouted at in school for using the word knackered because we went on a trip and there was a picture of me. So like we were walking up a big hill and the teacher went, "How did you feel when you got to the top?" And I said, "Knackered, miss." And she had a go at me and said, "That's a swear word, knackered." She said, "We won't have language like that in class." Like,
Oh,
I was only little.
go.
When I said I was little, I was like 10 or something. Like, I thought, knackered's a swear word. Behave, love.
Hey, I guess so. Um, I guess it's your birthday once again, Lee. All right. I agree too. There's some good people in the chat already, which is really cool to see. Red for Life is in the chat. Mukama is in the chat. MK Toe is in the chat. Big up to all of you guys. And to all those eventually going to join, and or if you're with us but you're just chilling. Hello. I guess what we're gonna do is basically, have a little bit of a session. I know that we were live when the news came through. It was certainly unfortunate news to hear. It was news that we didn't necessarily want to hear, but it's news that obviously I guess you could say we had to hear. So we are where we are with it, and the reason, I guess you could say, the reason why I went with the name for the thumbnail today was because that was basically what they sent. That was one of the main focal points of their PowerPoint was the mountains.
Told you they were weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. The thumbnail made me laugh.
But shout out and rest in peace to Mr. Ross, who makes his happy trees and happy mountains. So I guess Zubimendi had his happy mountains, and that was something that was a calling him to stay in Spain. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to get it. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of us that are going to have our little vent sessions where we're going to get out a lot of our frustrations and the likes. I have some news updates that I wanted to go through. Let me bring up the topics actually for today. One second. So we're going to go over some Twitter takes, top Twitter takes or headlines basically. And then we're going to visit Zubi Mountain. And then what is Plan B to Zubimendi? We'll dive into the news about Diaz and Barcelona that has resurged into the headlines. We're going to talk about the mama of a deal that is to be made, one that was being ridiculed on some of the other websites or channels. And last but not least, once we park the live bird on the tarmac, we'll engage in a lot of your questions, if not throughout the entire segment, but still engage in your questions and comments or anything that the panel wants to bring up. So I have a few topics to go through. I'll just kind of rifle through the news here. Top headlines is Liverpool have been rejected by Martin Zubimendi and now could go about signing a new midfielder this summer. Staying in Spain, Nico Williams' decision to affect Liverpool and Arsenal because Barcelona are determined to snap up Nico Williams despite signs that the winger is staying put in Atletico Bilbao. After posing with his athletic club number 10 shirt, the Spanish forward is said by Sport to have upset prospective employers Barcelona, but they will press on regardless. Barcelona previously thought Williams will be joining them no matter what, although they must first clear space in the squad for his 53 million pound outlay. Clement Langlet, Vitor Roque, and Ansu Fati are all pinned for exits to make it happen. to show Williams they are serious about him making a decision soon, they are targeting Liverpool's Luis Diaz and even Kingsley Coman as alternatives. The latter being a major target, Kingsley Coman, for Arsenal. And that brings me to the Arsenal news. Arsenal are facing major competition to sign Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich after it emerged that Barcelona are keen on the winger who has been made available for transfer. What's some other news out here? The Gunners are keen to bolster their attack amid talks to sign midfielder Mikel Merino. So if they thought we had some issues, wait till they deal with Mikel Merino, because he's the same Basque region player. And they've been linked to Victor Osimhen, and that is but Osimhen is also, I don't know how they're doing it, by the way, but Osimhen has also been linked to Chelsea. Chelsea is on Chelsea. Osimhen is on Chelsea's agenda, but João Felix is now a serious contender as well. A failure to agree to a deal for Felix could see Conor Gallagher's move to Madrid collapse. Last, I think this is one. Oh, I have 2 more points, 2 more news topics here. Crystal Palace have already knocked back a bid for the Magpies as they seek $70 million for the England international. The new approach is made up of $55 million guaranteed and 5 in add-ons. The stakes are high for Newcastle, given Eddie Howe's future is said to depend on top level signings this summer. So Eddie Howe is saying, if you don't get me some top level signing, I'm out. He's making demands. I know. Yeah, I know exactly.
What are you gonna do, Eddie? Go and take over Real Madrid? Yeah.
I think the news about him being a serious candidate for England has him really saying, okay, I can really put my foot down now.
Well, Southgate was given the job without much of a history of being a manager. Was he a manager before England? I can't remember. Did he have a job anywhere else before England, Southgate, as a manager? I've forgotten.
Yeah. He was with Borough.
Yeah, that was one of his clubs, wasn't it? Borough. Yeah.
It says Palace though want to bank a big fee, given 20% of the profit on the 18 million pound signing is owed to Chelsea due to a sell-on clause, as previously reported by the Standard Sport that reported this. Trevoh Chalobah and Maxime Lacroix are Palace's 2 top targets if Gay leaves. Also, we had I wanted to put in there. Well, I really don't care about Romelu. I had Romelu Lukaku information, but I don't think anyone really gives a crap about that.
Napoli, isn't he?
Yes, he's supposed to be going to Napoli. It was just funny because of what happened
about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, it was just funny because of what happened with Antonio Conte, the statement that he came out with. I don't know if you saw that or not, but Antonio Conte is on some Antonio Conte settings, kind of like, already complaining basically about his situation, the financial situation in Napoli. But he's they've ramped up their bid to sign Lukaku for their bid is for 25.5 million pounds. And he's making us think about it because Victor Osimhen is trying to make his exit from the team. Their offer is comprised of 21.5 million with the rest in variables. Chelsea are expected to respond very soon. And
I think they were trying to do like an Mbappe job with Osimhen, if I'm not wrong, where they were like, they wanted to take him, but take him on loan for a year and then buy him next year. And apparently Osimhen was like, no, I'm not doing that. No chance. No, I don't know why, if there was an obligation, but that's what I heard. Like, the whole reason Lukaku to Napoli's been held up is because of, obviously, they need to get rid of Osimhen first. And that was the last thing I heard, was that Chelsea wanted to take him, but do it like a loan, like the Mbappe when he went to PSG, but then guaranteed
even the Lukaku deal. Lukaku was a loan for a little bit too. Yeah.
Oh, going the other way, but when they brought him in, they could say to Napoli, look, you get your 120 million guaranteed next season. But for some reason, Osman turned it down. I mean, he'd be more kind of minded just to turn Chelsea down full stop, because the Chelsea, regardless of whether it's a loan or not, you should avoid that club like the plague. But I'm not sure how many big clubs out there now. He's very expensive, and is he that good? You know what I mean?
I don't know if he's worth the money.
Yeah, is he that good? I'm sure he's a
not saying
great
he's
player.
bad. I'm not saying he's bad. He's a very good player.
No one's saying we play. Obviously, look, we don't even, that goes without saying, but it's like, is he go 150, break the bank, $500,000 a week? Is he that kind of player? I mean, I really don't know. So I'm glad we're not in the conversation with him, because that's what he's going to cost way too much money. But
it's going to cost way too much money, and it's already looking like a headache somewhat. These last two are quick. Triple Manchester United deal could be announced today. We had pictures of Matthias de Ligt and Nasser Mazraoui, flying out of Bayern Munich for their physicals at Manchester United. The Bayern pair are said to have completed their medicals ahead of what is likely to be an announcement later today, actually now. And then the combined fee for Manchester United have agreed to pay comes in at an initial £51 million, with an additional $9 million owed in variables. Once signed and sealed, United are expected to sanction the Wan-Bissaka deal, which they just have, which is the West Ham deal for $15 million for the right back. And finally, on my list of news from around the Prem, Tottenham returned to Manuel Locatelli, excuse me. Manuel Locatelli. Tottenham already ready to bid for Juventus midfielder Manuel Locatelli. Italian outlet Juve Live claimed a bid worth $20.5 million plus bonuses is being ready by Spurs for Locatelli, who the old lady would be willing to hear out offers for. The Italy international is said to be ready for a move to the Prem if the clubs can find an agreement. Tottenham were keen on bolstering their midfield by signing. This is a weird one to hear, but Tottenham were keen on bolstering their midfield by signing Chelsea's Conor Gallagher, a move which the player rejected. Selling Locatelli would help Juve gather the funds to sign Toon Koopmeiners, someone we spoke on earlier, the one-away Atalanta ace previously linked with Liverpool. So those are my updates around the Prem. Any of the updates really stand out to you? Any updates you want to talk about or a little bit here before we get into the second topic here? Irishman or Lee?
There's a few. There's a few really interesting kind of in the balance type deals going around. They're not really. I know there's some people that they don't want to talk about like non-Liverpool stuff or whatever, but there's a couple of really interesting deals out there in the balance. Ozra and Gallagher, all these things. I think there's my theory on domino transfers. There's always domino transfers, and as soon as one goes, next thing you know, 2 or 3 other transfers happen off the back of it. So there could be some big kind of, well, not big last minute moves, but some kind of surprising last minute moves. But it's very, very, just in terms of us, there's no point even opening transfer pages at the moment. It's nothing but bad news.
Yeah. Players and I mean, there's going to be a lot of deals, trying to be made before the start of the season, obviously. But yeah.
Despite winning the FA Cup, United finished 8th. I'm not surprised they're spending a few bob to try and alleviate their suffering. It's not bad getting De Ligt in if it's like high 40s and getting Wan-Bissaka away for 20 or whatever. And that's not too bad if you look at it that way, that they're only losing out 20 million, 20 odd million, and replacing Wan-Bissaka with De Ligt. I mean, they've got Gallo, they've got others who can play right back. United always have players as well. United
technically, they replaced them with Mazraoui, the right back. So they did buy a right back as well. Mazraoui from Ajax for around what
that's
they
right. He's
sold
like
him for.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was probably maybe even a little bit more than they sold Wan-Bissaka for. De Ligt to come in to replace Varane, I suppose. Varane's left, hasn't he? But yeah, look, if they'd signed De Ligt before he went to Juve, which every club on the planet wanted to sign him, obviously by the thing, then did. But now, because of the way it's gone for him, there's question marks. You know, and they're not getting the fanfare. It's like, I don't want to say it, you know, because I mean, I'd love to have his career, obviously, but there's a bit of a damaged goods kind of feel around De Ligt, and I think like there's a reputation to be rebuilt.
Yeah,
And
I hope it goes
is
well
that the
for
club
him.
you want to?
Yeah.
But is that the club you want to do it at? I mean, is that really?
Yeah, fitness-wise, I hope it goes well for him. I hope he doesn't win a carrot likewise at Old Trafford. But fitness-wise, I hope he plays, and we'll see what he is and what he isn't. When he plays in the Premier League a lot, like, because I want a good look at him. I want to look at him in this league. There's no reason why he shouldn't succeed like in the Premier League with Matthew Stilett. So I want to see. Yeah, I want to see him. I don't want him to be out injured all the time. I'd like to have a good look at him this season. So it'd probably be paired with Martinez, won't he? I would imagine would be their number one pair.
Yeah, unless they do something. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of narratives out there that have also. I know that hearing some of the dealings of some of the other teams, and let's be honest, some of the other teams are in different positions, in different places than we are. So of course they're going to be making deals. I know though Arsenal are the one of the teams that is in or at our level. Arsenal are making some good deals for themselves. They're trying to bring some good players.
They're all shy.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
They're all useless.
There you go.
Calafiori back to Rome in 5 months. Calafiori, you'll be looking at Ryanair flights from Gatwick to Milan. And who else have they done? Who else did they bring in?
Well, the fact that they're trying to bring in the other guy from Atletico.
Oh, Marino, but I mean, just in terms of done deals, who else do Arsenal have?
Okay. Done deals. Give me 1 second.
Calafiore.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there is someone else, isn't there? I'm sure there was someone else.
I have it open right here. Hold on 1 second. I can give you the done deals in a second. Mm-hmm. There was. Let me see here.
I noticed a lot of United fans. Today wanting a striker on United fans that are seen on other streams that weren't like, you know, it was just all football streams. All United fans going on about how much we need a striker.
Yeah.
Arsenal have brought in. Raya isn't really them bringing in someone.
Count.
That deal got completed this year.
Yeah,
that was a big deal though. 32 million euros spent on the books. And other than Calafiori, 45 million. And unless they've made something adjusted from the last time I updated the list here.
Okay.
And Tommy Setford for $1 million. Well, actually, I think it's for 500,000. Yeah, from Ajax. He's it was for 900,000 euros or something. So I don't know what that's about. It's probably a youth player or something like that. But they had a bunch of outgoings.
But also, don't forget quickly, if you bring in these boys, I know it's only a minor thing, but just say, for instance, we were to spend 20 million on that guy that we got from Chelsea. What was his name? The new kid.
Oh, Rio? Yeah.
Rio, yeah. That none of that doesn't count for FFP.
Right. Yeah, because he's under 21.
Because they're into the under 21s. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you have to watch that with some of these boys Chelsea are buying. They're getting them when they're 20. So we'll get them now. You know what I mean? That's not wait 6 months.
Because you can tuck them away on the youth clubs. Yeah. Yep. Totally.
Doesn't go on the books.
Yep. Well, that'll bring us to, I guess, the area or the section. Let's go. Let's take a trip to the Happy Mountains. Maybe not so happy for us, but all the same, mountains all the same. So it appears that the PowerPoint of mountains has swayed the Basque player to stay in Spain when it comes to Zubimendi. I also wanted to note, look, a quick synopsis of what a buyout clause is in Spain, at least. Buyout clauses typically in Spain and slightly different to a release clause legally requires a player to buy out his contract at the specific amount. The purchasing club still pays the amount to the player. Complex process due to tax implications and logistical challenges. And then they deposit to La Liga, and it releases the player from their terms. FSG offered a better contract options for more money than the buyout clause, if the buyout clause was not necessary. And Champions League football, and the heritage of Liverpool and everything else, and blah 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 blah. And and he still chose his happy mountains. So
lots of wages, double what he's going to get.
Yeah, we give him our best offer, didn't we? We give him the best offer we could, and he had, he had to think about it and didn't take it. But we're not the only club that he hasn't bid for, like, you know what I mean? There's other clubs, isn't there, have been in, so it's not worth getting too pissed off going, oh, we couldn't even get him because no one else could either, mate, when they tried.
Oh, I know that. That's one of the things that is, like, I think is not conveniently overlooked, I would say. It's very conveniently overlooked, the fact that he even contemplated coming here. Like, as in the player had reportedly given his word or said that he was going to honor the terms that had been agreed upon.
In his mind, that 1 minute he was I'm going, and the next minute he was like, hang on, I might stay. I think it was also the club had a lot of pressure on it too. I mean, like, the club's looking at losing a lot of their Basque region stars. Well, they lost Normand, didn't they? And I heard that they lost both their centre backs. The Normands and whoever his partner was last season at Sociedad has also gone. I heard that they lost both their centre backs straight away in the window.
Yeah. But just Alexander, quickly, no, the club gets all the money. The selling club gets all the money. It's just that when it's a buyout clause, it can't be a transaction directly between the buying club and the selling club. The player must pay to release himself from his own contract, and he pays that money to what would be the selling club, Sociedad. But that's all it is. It just can't be done club to club. It's just a weird legal quirk in it that it has to be the player who deposits the money into the club's account, Sociedad's account. But so they get it all. It's just, Liverpool can't. I mean, they hand the guy the check, he walks into the bank. It's weird, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
but that's why
I wanted to explain it, because I know some people are probably looking at it from why, if he has a release clause, why couldn't we just why couldn't we just buy him and buy the release clause?
He still has to say yes. He still has to say yes. I mean, he's had his release clause broken a couple of times now, by the sounds of it, but he can still turn it down. I mean, you can't force him to sign it. You can, you can break it open, but if the player doesn't want to join your club, you can pay all the release clauses you want. He can just say, sorry, I have no interest in going to Juve, Bayern, blah, 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 whatever it is. It just, that's the second part you have to get done. So once you go in with that, but again, like I said, I think we can say, Sociedad have moved mountains to keep him, so you can't fault them there. I mean, the guy, it's obviously, like I said, it's a love story, and typical us to get involved with some guy that loves his club and doesn't want to leave. And like I said last night, if he was going to be like this about it, and be all, I can't possibly leave, then just tell us 10 days ago. I mean,
I think that,
but maybe he didn't know. But
I think that 10 days ago, this wasn't. That's where I was about to get to with what I had to say, is that I don't think that 10 days ago the pressure was as immense as it was.
No,
as of late.
Well,
and why else?
He gave
why
his
else,
word,
why else
though. But why did he say yes?
Well,
and then change his mind. Then you see,
I think, though.
He wasn't...
Okay, so let me go. Let me say this then. And then I'll allow for you to land as well. Unless you want to land, you want to land first, or
no? I'm not saying like tell me or like the song. I mean just like I'm just still working out my own. I'm just a little bit annoyed with him, but I know what it's like. Like
Oh, I get it. I get it. I get it.
I
Yeah,
changed my mind at the last minute. I've been about
right,
to do things, and then you think, no, obviously,
right. These are
nothing on
different.
this
Yeah, these are
scale,
like, yeah, these are
but I
like,
know what it's like. Yeah, I know it's like you're about to move somewhere. Like I've been on, I've been in
but
airports going, do I really want to move to this new
mhm,
place? But again, it just it's frustrating because if this had happened in the first 2 weeks of the window, it'd be cool. It wouldn't matter. We'd be well moved on for it. But
right,
now it's just got this timing. I don't blame the kid. I don't harbor any bad feeling. He's stayed at a much smaller club on a much smaller wage. So obviously it was a love story, and let them, best of luck to both of them. I hope they're very
right,
happy.
right. Well,
You know, that's
where I was getting at it, well, was that like I think when some of the twists and turns of this story started to unveil, I don't think anyone had because there were reports that Atletico was okay. They know he's going to say yes, which he did, and they already knew that like they were already coming to terms with that case. And then all of a sudden, whether it was the fervor of the fan base there or whatever started to pick up. Then all of a sudden, we heard the reports of they're reinitiating their assault on trying to change his mind. They're gonna they've been told no once, but they're gonna turn around and try to get him to say no rather than say yes to this deal. And then they went as far as to make him possibly become the bad guy. And what I remember the story I told you about how they approached him and said, okay, well, we understand that technically you have to buy out your deal, but they're like, we're going to make you buy out the deal. We're going to make you make it known that you want to leave, that you are pushing for this deal, not that you don't that you so make you the bad guy, make us, we did everything we can, and we're going to try to make you the bad guy. And then they also went as far as again the Happy Mountains. So the PowerPoints and the full court press. So
Does anybody want a dog? By the way, she's very low maintenance. Her name's Coco. I'll ship her straight away overnight if anybody wants one,
oh,
just for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know she's been a little bit she's been a little bit of a Zubimendi lately, but
Yeah,
The little dog is it, Brian?
yeah,
Small
yeah. Smaller.
but
Yeah, it
still,
is like an episode of Home and Away or something, isn't it? And
yeah,
I'd love to see that. I would love to find out that they just pulled out some random like 1990s DVD of like Visit San Sebastian or something, like really
yeah,
dated,
exactly.
old,
I
shitty
can
thing.
see it totally.
Come and visit the mountains of San, like some old
Yeah,
actor from the
like
80s in it or something.
1978, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
travel.
Really shitty thing.
You could like they had to put a film strip. They had to actually put it on the actual film strip reel thing and like throw it up on
I'm
the
gonna,
projector.
he's like,
Oh man, yeah.
come and visit downtown San Sebastian. He's like, I fucking live there. It's just like, I don't. What the hell? This story, man. It really. Oh, if someone else was involved with it, we'd be having just as much fun.
Oh man,
But
yeah.
and
If it
Trap
wasn't,
Trap
yeah,
Joe,
yeah,
just
yeah,
quickly
yeah.
to Trap Joe said we're going to he said we'll sign some players before saying to be patient. I think we are very, very patient. You should watch some other channels, man, if you think we're impatient. But I think we have been very patient. And like
Yeah.
I said to someone last night, we haven't signed anybody. So we are being very patient. We don't have any new players. And nobody is going to convince me that this is ideal, that this is part of the plan. This is what's happening, yes, and we can
Mm-hmm.
deal with it. But
Mm-hmm.
this is not what we wanted. This is not where the club wanted to be. They wanted this guy in the door 10 days ago. So
Yeah.
no one's going to convince me otherwise. So we're not where we want to be as a club. We are being
Yeah.
patient
Well,
as long as the window is open, but
mhm.
we're also being very much aware. Like, this is not normal to be at this, as good as our team is and as solid a state as it is. It's not normal to have gone, even with all the caveats that there was a Copa, there was an Olympics, there was a Euros, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Even with that, it's getting down to the wire, and again, I think we might even end up looking at a January scenario here. I think we'll hold fire. I can see that happening and wait until bloody January. So I think we are. Most fans, for in comparison to a lot of channels and people, I think we're being really patient.
I'm just gonna put this. Yeah, I was gonna say like
just delete Twitter, lads. Just delete Twitter. I did it like
I know. I saw that. I saw MK Tony
years
say
ago.
I'm surprised that there's no FSG out. I'm just going to reemphasize this isn't the FSG in nor is it FSG out, but it's like more so it's a FSG friendly environment in that it's that all the FSG out talk to me is just very elementary. It's like it's not really it doesn't do anything for us. It more so it just distracts. It's like it's a platitude that you just continue to just recycle. Like, let's talk about some real constructive answers. We got to deal with what we have to deal with now. It's not like they're going to just say, "Oh, okay, we quit," and then just walk out the door. I mean, that's silly. It's just silly talk. I want to talk about some real answers.
No, I love the force them out people. I love those guys.
Yeah.
I love those guys who say if we don't do something by next week, it's time for them to go, and people have to. The fans have to force them out. What are you going to do? Like, that scene. It's like that meme they always use from The Simpsons, where everyone's marching down the main street with torches.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's just like,
Joe,
let's focus on what we can control.
I know. I just want to say to Joe as well, Joe, I'm not sure what part of what I said made you think it's driving me crazy. I don't let football drive me crazy anymore, man. It's not worth it. But if you want to see someone going nuts about transfer windows, this isn't really the place. We'll do what we do, and what it'll be will be, But all I'm saying is do what I did until recently, because it happened to contact people.
What's that case?
Delete Twitter. Yeah, just delete Twitter. If you don't want to get involved in all that stuff, just delete Twitter or do what I did years ago. And just follow anything but football, because if you, Twitter, football, Twitter during the transfer window is just a hellhole cesspit. It's horrible. It is.
It's tough. It's
lies,
tough to do. A lot of rumors, a lot of
slandering.
A lot of yapping, a lot of like stupid banter. Some banter's fun. It's fun. I understand. It's fun. I mean, we all deal in it, but a little bit's like a little, and then it gets a little bit toxic sometimes. It's kind of weird when people talk about I've seen people be like, "Oh, who's FSG in or here?" Da da da, and it's kind of like, it's almost like you're being bullied into like having not being able to be supportive or have an opinion that's different. And that sucks, because a lot of that talk tends to be really, really visceral, and it's pointless, because you're looking at it, and I'm looking at it personally as in it's visceral words and actions directed at fellow Reds. That's not a place that I really want to get into. Really, I want to definitely do something positive with my connections with my Reds. So if you want to deal, or if that's what you want, then there's plenty of channels like that out there. But we're trying to be progressively positive on this channel. I was going to get back into this and say where we are at. So currently, I understand the fallout in that we put all our eggs in this basket, in this Zubimendi basket. But what's kind of interesting is that apparently the report is out there that we are still willing to let Bajcetic go out on loan, despite the fact that Zubimendi is not going to be a part of the club. The view of the club is that they have Ryan Gravenberch and Curtis Jones as potential partners for Alexi McAllister, while Dominic Szoboszlai and Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I did say that correctly, Trent Alexander-Arnold can also play there. Liverpool are prepared to sanction a loan move for Stefan Bajcetic, who needs to play regularly after missing most of last season due to an injury. That's reported by James Pearce.
The last bit kind of makes sense,
It does.
When you read the last bit, it's what I said. I don't want it to happen. I wanted him to play last year,
right,
and be fit. But another season sitting on the bench and not playing, that would be 2 seasons basically of no football, right at your peak kind of development age.
Yeah.
So yeah, let it be. If he's going to sit on the bench, hell no, no way, no
Right.
chance. Being
Right.
sixth choice and never getting any minutes. No, I want to see him playing for Celta Vigo or whoever it might be every single week at a really good level. Because it gives you another team to keep an eye on then if something like that. But
Yeah,
I'm
and
all
he can't
for
do.
that.
And I don't want to see like what we were just mentioning about like the Rio and the like, or even the next individual I'm going to bring up shortly here. I don't want to see them have to go down to the youth academy, or I want to see him at least go to like the youth stages in his development and in his position in place. He needs to either play with the senior team, or he needs to find a loan deal to get that experience in. I'm willing to say that. Because the other player I was just talking about is and let me bring up some fun little photos for us as well. I'm gonna bring up some graphics for us so that we can at least enjoy that portion of the show. 1 second. Sure. Because yes, this was the individual we were talking about, Mr. Brzezinski. But again, this guy right here, Mr. Neone, who is highly rated by a lot of us, obviously. And let me say this too. I have some other pictures here. Young man scored his first goal at Anfield. And it was a great goal. I'll share some of the photos of that. What I wanted to just talk about right before we delve into the meat of the discussion. I was happy to see he celebrated, but it wasn't. It was a celebration. He was like, hey, hey to the cop, and then he turned to BBD here, and BBD was like happy for him, and then but it was a quick celebration. He
does it all the time. That's just him saying, I do it all the time. Don't get overexcited.
Right, yeah. It's basically what it was. Yeah.
That's the attitude.
I love this. This is a great picture, by the way. With the I don't know how, but I hope he's not hurt. The player on the ground, but I mean, like it looks kind of great in the sense. It looks like he like sat him down.
Just with Trey though, I mean, it's
Oh wait,
I mean, I don't really just. Sorry, I just the number 98. The number 98. That's all I'm saying. The number 98. Need to get that down.
It might be. I don't know. Actually, it's not. It's not even the year he's born, I guess. But,
no, I was just thinking that. I was like, no, he's way too young. He's not. He can't even. They can't even be that. Like these kids are born when I was. Oh, Jesus. Oh God.
Yeah. Let's not get into that. Yeah, let's just not get into that comparison. But yeah, what was great about the point or the moment or the memory that I at least established from it was that Virgil went up to the young man, was just like, congratulations, but hey, turn it back around. His turn. You can see that he's so young and he's still got to obviously work on some of his like his strength and fitness, but he is going up against Virgil, who's a very big bustling guy. He turned around real quick and like shoved him back to take another curtain call. And that was cool. I thought that was great to see. I'm so happy that Trey Neone is looking like a real find, a real gem. Formerly a Leicester player, right? I'm sure Ant is regretting. Big up Nolante too, by the way. Big up to everyone in the chat. We have a bunch of heads in the chat. Big up to everyone.
What do we pay? 5 million, I think, something like that. 5 million quid for.
Something like
so
that.
I said it at the time, a lot of people said it at the time, when you like we did that with Harvey, we did it with Carvalho, we pick up all clubs, they pick up and they trade, young players who, he doesn't want to sign a contract at City and he goes to Liverpool or vice versa. But when you go and you actually spend money, when you go, like, you have to think about 5 million isn't anything, but on a player like that, it's actually, it really kind of puts an extra bit of an asterisk on it and say, oh, okay, well, we really rate this kid, because we don't go in and spend
that's a lot of money for a youngster. Yeah.
But also to bring him into our academy and to put him in our team is also, to be that good.
High praise.
But yeah,
Yeah.
when you see us going out and doing that, it kind of perks a little bit of extra interest because we picked up another guy from Leicester as well at the same time, but he was free, I think. But the fact that we were going out and putting money down, it makes you go, oh, okay, well, let me have another look at this guy. And I think he's shown, like, has he ever? I mean, he's had 3 or 4 cameos now, I think, not just preseason. I mean, since he's come in. And I think he impressed pretty much every time he's come on. He's either done something, a standout piece of skill, or, you know, obviously that goal. But I think he's someone might be worth actually keeping an eye on. Don't be surprised if, you know, kind of biting at the edges of the first team sooner.
So that's a good segue in that. That's a good segue in that. There has been some talks out there that obviously this young man is highly rated. But again, put the reason for Bajcetic. Also put another reason as to why Bajcetic isn't going to skip or be able to see any real significant minutes is because of the emergence of Trey Neone. Trey Neone was trending in Twitter, and it was a case where Trey could be moved up and down, obviously, on the U21 team, so that makes him a little bit easier to maintain or to, like, kind of have him get his experience, but not necessarily count against the roster and the likes and this, and it could be something to keep an eye on. But Bajcetic, on the other hand, shouldn't be can't be relegated to the youth side, obviously, or shouldn't be relegated to the youth side. So
he could.
Right.
They could bump him.
Not that he can't. He shouldn't.
Yeah, he ain't going.
In my opinion,
it is the minutes thing.
But
no, it's spot on.
Neone could go back and forth between it, very seamlessly, considering he is still under 21 too. And it's been put out there that, that Liverpool are very, very high on this youngster. Now, whether we, really apply him to the roster is one thing, but the sky's the limit for this guy. And I'm very happy to see that he's getting some real vaunted opportunities here. So, do you think that? But the question I guess I had though for the panel was, could you guys see Trey Neone getting some minutes here and there for the club this year? Lee, do you think that Trey Neone is slated to get some minutes?
Don't see why not. He come to prominence quite quickly last season and began, appearing on the bench, didn't he? In that, like, in certain games when we were strapped players. But he came out of nowhere quite quickly last season, didn't he? And I don't see why he couldn't just stay at the club and maybe have a few minutes here, a few minutes there when it's through. Do so to give him minutes. Yeah, why not? Why not? He showed what he could do against Seville, taking that one away, didn't he?
Right. Irishman, do you see the same?
Well, I suppose I kind of spoiled my own opinion on it there. That the Bajcetic thing, I did. I made a joke with someone there when he came on. I was like, scrap that Zubimendi deal. We got this Neone guy, but he plays a different role. But him taking Bajcetic's minutes is a new angle on it. One I hadn't considered, one I wouldn't have considered. But I can see him. Like I said, I don't think he's done anything other than say to Arne Slot, well, look, I can be trusted. I can step up. He'll have seen what he did last season. So he to me will be. I don't know if you're going to be doing one of those type of shows. He will be the one to keep the eye on. Now, he's not breaking into the team. Yeah, definitely not breaking into the team. But I think you're talking a definite starter if we play Torquay in the Cup. That kind of game. And then on the bench, then potentially minutes. And then you never know. Then the world is your oyster. If you can get yourself on the bench in a Premier League game, then just get on the pitch. And when you get on the pitch, play well, prove yourself. So that's the only. But I haven't seen this guy come on and not look like, okay, he's got something about him.
Yeah,
really got something about him. So yeah, let's follow it. Let's keep an eye on him, and let's hope he stays injury free, because I don't know. Again, you don't want to put the bad touch on it, but it looks a real talent. Real talent.
What I was going to do is I was going to talk about this. So the next, I know the dog. Yeah, I know. I was going to make sure
they weren't even my freaking dogs. Those weren't even my dogs.
Oh, those weren't. Oh, okay.
No, those weren't even my dogs. Those were the neighbors in the front garden.
All right.
Sounded like
they're right next to you.
Yeah, they were literally they were about 10 feet. Well, my window is open, so.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Well, then that brings us then to Plan B, which is what I had as our next topic, and that's what I wanted to talk about, because what's very interesting. I know a lot of times. Big up the Trigger TV, by the way. I notice quite often when we get into these conversations, people try to do the whole like, oh well, that's above my pay grade, or that's not my job, or something like that, when it comes to knowing what is another option. But I'm sure there are those players out there that people have had in their mind as being their top choice, or someone they would like to see in that 6 role for us. And it got me to saying, I asked this question on Beijing Reds TV. Shout out to them. And I asked, I was asking Chris, I was like, well, what's your plan B? What is your plan B? For those that are so up in arms about the fact that this deal didn't go through, or that it collapsed, however you want to put it, what is your plan B? What is your plan? Because obviously plan A for the club was this. What was, if you had your choice though, what was your plan B? What was your plan A that got bumped to plan B at least, And that's what I like to ask is, what is your plan B? What is it? So plan A was obviously Zubimendi until they made it front and center late in the window, but the number 6 is the most glaring position with this team, I would say. I know people will look back and say, well, we failed to get Zubimendi, we failed to get Caicedo, we failed to get Lavia. That's a lot of players right there. I get that. And now Zubimendi was a failure as well. What is our plan B? It could be De Jong. It could be Joshua Kimmich. It could be Adam Wharton. It could be Bruno Gomes. It could be Alan Varela. It could be Ederson. Heck, I don't care. It could even be Andre, if you want to give a shout out for that. Maybe there's someone I didn't say. There's those players which is Redondo, who plays for Inter Miami. He's the Argentine player, good young 19-year-old, but is he the needle mover? Heck no, not at that stage, not at this age.
Not that age.
It could be Rios, Ricardo Rios, who plays for who's a Colombian national. It could be him as being an option, but then again, that's even a far leap for some. Who is your plan B? Because I'm sticking personally with my plan A, and that was Gravenberch. But who is your plan B? Lee, do you want, or let's go to Irishman first. Irishman, do you have a plan B? And I'm going to include your plan Bs in the chat. So if you have a plan B, tell us who it is, and I will include it as part of the discussion.
Yeah, plan B. I wasn't. It's such a really difficult position at the moment, because the prices are so ridiculous, because it's become the new number 9. It's become the minimum 80 for someone who's good, that isn't on a release clause. So it's one of the most difficult markets, because all of the guys out there, these random unproven guys at clubs like Atalanta and clubs like Porto and clubs like Real Sociedad, doesn't matter how good they are, You don't know what's going to happen to someone when they get to the Premier League, and all of a sudden the pressure and the weight of a Liverpool shirt on their back, doesn't matter who you are. That's when you find out whether they're any good or not, or able to step up. So I don't have my plan B. Sounds like I'm copping out probably, but would be to just hold till January, because we're not going to do an endo. We're not. It's not going to be what. But if you have, but then I don't. This is why I can't chime with these players being let go things. I think you're hoping Gravenberch, McAllister, Jones, and Sabazai stay fit to be able to play every game. But I can see us holding. I really don't know where to go next. I mean, Ederson, everyone likes Ederson. Everyone likes Kone. A lot of people like Ferreira. I really don't know. I don't know enough about these guys because the market we're shopping in is kind of, look, fair play to you if you watch Portuguese football every week. Fair play to you if you watch German football every week. And you can speak properly on these players. All I know is what people are saying about them and the odd bits and pieces. And a lot of them are young. So it's like plan B is just pulling a name out of a hat, I think. I really think, because the guy I would have gone for probably wasn't a realistic deal. Douglas Luiz, before he goes to Juve, someone like that, someone you've watched and seen. But again, yeah, I don't know why, but we couldn't get him. Maybe we didn't want him. Maybe he doesn't fit. But this whole number 6 thing, I mean, 10 years ago, these guys were costing 15 million.
Right.
Guys better than these, but now it's become such a important position. You have to get it right. When you're spending that kind of money, you have to get it right. But I think we stick. I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, Lee.
Yeah, I don't want us to just panic by somebody who's not usable. That's not what I want. I'd rather we just stuck until January in that case. But I am hoping that we will get someone. I'm hoping it's someone that we probably none of us have mentioned. No one's mentioning in the chat, and no one has mentioned ever, maybe in connection with us, who's there somewhere and is a good enough player to come in and be a number 6 who can also
I'm all
pass
for that.
Yeah, we just might not know who it is, might we? It might not be a name that anyone's thought of. So we'll wait and see. It's not definite that we ain't buying a 6, is it? We're just assuming that, like, because we heard a few things, but that's not definitely the case, is it?
Yeah. I'm starring all the selections from everyone.
God knows who this mystery man could, or where this mystery man could be. Like that is the plan B that I don't know the name of, but there must be a player who fits the profile of a ball playing.
That's what we were kind of. I know we were in a chat earlier this morning, and that's kind of like what their panel was talking about, and like also we were also discussing in the chat. I was basically saying in the chat how I think that we will get by with what we have, because I believe what we have is better than what is available on the market at the time. Like, guys, and it's comparable, if not better, than what's on the market. Otherwise, we would make that move for that player. And we did make a move for a player that we did evaluate as being an upgrade at that position. And unfortunately, he chose to stay home. But Trigger TV says plan B for him is Ederson. Bernie was going with what I said too, is that Gravenberch if all else fails. The Frenchie is Realism Jarrett's.
What? The Frenchie? Which one is that?
Rabiot, right?
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah. Alexander says Nat Phillips could be that guy. Okay. That's thinking outside the box. Hey, that's thinking outside the box. MK Doe says might as well put Gomez there. Okay. We've seen Gomez at the 6. I don't know if that necessarily.
No, but we have to speak in
any-
terms. We have to speak in terms as well as it's a 2 now that we're talking about.
Yes, it is a pivot. Yes, as opposed to
So
a
it's
6.
McAllister. I think it's McAllister and
Mhm.
at the moment it's McAllister and right now I think it's McAllister and Gravenberch and Dominic
Mhm.
ahead in the middle and 2 boys either side and then behind 2 boys either side and
Mhm.
one up top. So I think that right now is Gravenberch and McAllister, and I like that. I'm really happy with that because Gravenberch is kind of good, and I'd like to see him get a proper run. He never got that under Klopp. The guy who made such a big deal of getting him,
Mhm.
going out and getting him, and we never really
Mhm.
saw. We see that's the thing, Delante. We're it looks like Basetic is going on loan, so we're kind of counting him out a little bit. If he
Yeah.
doesn't, then yeah, he gets the minutes. But I really, really like Gravenberch and McAllister as a double pivot. But is it high end? Is it Champions League semi final kind of? I mean, it can get there. It could be
I
that.
think it can get there. It's got to give, but
Yeah,
to
but
get
I'd
there,
like
you
to
got to
have
give
that
it the
bit.
chance.
Of
To
course,
get there, you
no.
gotta
There's
give
only
it
one way to get there. Of course, there's only
Yeah.
one way to get there. But I'd still like to just to have that one name in there to go. We went and got that guy right. So yeah, he's right, just planted right in the middle, and then everything can orbit around him. There'll be loads of games because if we're playing with a double pivot, loads of games, loads of time for McAllister and Grav to play together. Jones and Grav, even. Like we will see lots of combinations.
Mhm.
But it would be great to see just someone like to have gotten that Zubimendi deal done. But again, oftentimes through adversity, something.
Mhm.
When you don't have a player and you end up having to play players that are there and they give their all, and you find out 6 months down the line, we ain't buying someone. This guy's stepped up and beyond.
Mhm.
That's all you can hope for, really. But I wouldn't be worried about the quality of these boys at all. If we had to start tomorrow
Mhm.
and we didn't, but then again, everything flips. If we sell Endo and we loan out by Sedic, it's like, right, okay, now we're cutting our cloth pretty thin.
Mhm. Yeah. A name I didn't have in there. Kone is available as Nalante just put. He's
Yeah.
a 30 million pound offer could get him through the door. But and I know that he is recovering from a knee injury. I don't know if that has been to the previous levels that he had before the knee injury or not. But he was a target, a soft target before we went
Him
in
and
for
Tora
Endo.
was
And
all the talk. Do you remember?
and
3 months, nothing but
yeah,
Kone and Tora. Kone and
yeah,
Tora.
they were
Kone.
early and they were very early targets being mentioned out there, and it just never manifests. Bernie
No,
goes
he's
on to
back.
say,
He's back to his best, apparently. Just that.
Mhm.
Apparently, I've heard he is back to his. I don't know, but how good his best is, I don't know.
yeah. Nalati's saying he did play in the Olympic final. I'm just asking if he's back to the levels. I'm not saying that. I know he's definitely back, but I mean I just wonder if he's back to the levels that we previously saw. Because it definitely takes time to rehabilitate yourself to have the confidence and get your form back to that level. We all saw that with VVD, for instance. Which was a process.
He's not someone whose career I followed, to be honest with you. So how I think he's made a full recovery basically, and but again, like how good was he? I mean, was this guy being talked up? Was he really that good? He's just a young central midfielder.
Mm-hmm.
I heard people saying last year, if we get Thuram and Kone, we'll win the league. People were going way over top on these two, and then quickly, very easily forgotten about it. All of a sudden,
Fanciful extreme.
I would like to just see what especially what Bernie's saying too. Like, I'm interested to see the relationship that is created with Gravenberch and Maka if they are to be part of that pivot. And
we can't lose him. We can't lose McAllister, by the way. McAllister is so integral to all of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So if you take him
McAllister
out,
McAllister is like Thiago for us at one point.
Yeah, he kind of makes the whole thing work. It's like you put him in and then he can play beside him. But if you take Mac out, it's like, well, okay.
Okay,
Jones
now
has
it's
got
the
to play,
story.
it becomes and we can't expect him to play every game. Most games, not every game. So it really is. There's just that nagging little kind of space there to me that I know we will fill. We'll get it done.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
and I'm with Lee. I'd love to wake up tomorrow and go, Jackson Alvarez, who, and then all of a sudden,
right. Like some name that you haven't had your radar on.
Could be.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
Big up, Reels and Jared. Big up YouTube name. Big up to Revenite joining us. Big up to you guys.
Revenite, saucy Revenite. He's not taking any prisoners this season, Revenite. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, sure he's not.
I've experienced him already this week. He's fired up.
He's been doing the boot camp. He's ready.
Oh,
he's ready and rocking. Yeah. I know that there's been some people had these players as Plan B. These are some of the more trending names on Twitter, at least for action or for interest of people. Obviously, this is Barella, and also another name out there, Ederson. Are these two names, either of these two names that you say, yes, go get them, and possibly by doing so, knock Gravenberch out of the role that we just said that we think he could do for us?
I wouldn't worry about knocking. I wouldn't worry about knocking people. It's a squad game. It's always been a squad game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, like, that's the thing. You say, oh well, we've got this guy. Then like buying him is one thing. Do you got like?
I'm just saying, taking up his minutes.
I know what you're saying. No, I know what you're saying. But I'm just saying, look, sometimes you just go out and you get the guy, and then you figure it out afterwards who plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like what I've just been saying. We have a really good side there, and we can make it work. But I'd love to know that we just have that one in, because I think then, like, say if your man there, Ederson, dropped in tomorrow, I reckon 5 minutes later, Endo would be on the first plane to wherever. We'd sell him then, because no one's just mentioned in all this talk. No one's mentioned Endo, so clearly nobody rates him to get in. Nobody sees him in the thing, and I think that's the way the club is looking at it. That even if we were to bring him in, I think then we would sell Endo. But if we don't bring in someone like him, I think we're keeping Endo. I hope. I'd love to just keep Endo and don't tell anyone about him. Just leave him sit there, wait for the clock to run, transfer window. Now he's stuck here for another few months, because we will need players like him. Might even be at right back. Emergent game here or there. So, but that guy, look, I know. Tell me in the chat, people in the chat.
I know.
Varela, even know less about who's better, Varela or Ederson. For people who actually think they know, I mean, if you've watched them, who would you buy? Because to me, they sound like really good young players that could. Because I know K-Mac is big on Varela. I know certain people are big on Ederson. But again, I mean, there's only so many days in the week. I haven't seen these boys play a lot of football. So you tell me.
Yeah, Realism Jared said Varela and Mac may be too similar. Red for Life said Ederson would be a welcome addition. Revenite says Varela, Ederson, Bruno G for him are the targets. Fofana would be tough because we'd have to hijack that deal, but those are his choices. Reels and Jared thinks Ederson is a better complement for Mac over Varela. MK Toe says he just doesn't know. Again, Revenite said Ederson. Are they both press resistant? That's a good question. That's a very good question. I don't know if they fit the. Again, I think why I'm saying what I am saying though is because so many people have these players in their mind, Ederson especially, for instance, and they have these players that are truly destroyed, like as a destroyer, more of a destroyer than the pivot playing six that we were looking for. Excuse me, in the player type for in the player type of a framework of like a Zubimendi in the sense of like being press resistant, but also being able to make from real movement happen. So I don't know if I don't think that they really set up to be that. Otherwise, I think they would have been an easier selection to go for than a Zubimendi or the like. So that's why I think that as much as Varela and Ederson are good, I just don't know if they are the choice that moves the needle for us personally. But
Well, Revenite is saying that Varela is more of a passer, Ederson more the hybrid. You can get a bit dirty. I think because we were talking about that last night. I don't really think maybe other than center forward, the Darwin Núñez role, and obviously center half. I think he might be leaning more towards the hybrid types, the players who can, as opposed to individualists, people like and I think maybe that might be the Endo issue. He's just an out and out destroyer. I think maybe he wants four more hybrid types in there that can do a bit of everything, but not do a bit of everything in a bad way. But like you've got to be able to take the ball, be good in possession, and like someone YouTube now said, you have to be press resistant, take the ball off your defense and from your with your back to goal and be able to turn and play passes, and that's really difficult. That's really hard. That means first touch, really cool under pressure, and ability to pass first time and quickly. Those are three of the most difficult things to do in midfield. This is what you're looking at here. That's why we ain't just going out and getting Johnny.
It's even difficult.
You're putting them in the most important position in the team. Really important to how we build up. Everything comes from how we build up. Taking the ball under pressure. Yeah, we invite pressure on us. Get him in on top of you. Like hold. Step hold on the ball.
Right.
And then open it up. But you've got to invite pressure. So we need midfielders who are comfortable on the ball, inviting pressure, and then can turn and pick that pass. What you're describing there costs a lot of money and doesn't exist everywhere. So to get that player out of the, it's like, oh yeah, all of a sudden now you can't go into Walmart and buy one of them. So
that's not exactly on the shelves. high stocks on the shelves there for sure. I was looking here I took a quick look to see. So if you were to go to, how FBref has like other players that are kind of in the framework of the player that you're actually in comparison wise.
Similar players.
And the players that they had on the list for like a Zubimendi, for instance, was the Frankfurt player, Skahiri. Elise Skahiri. He's a Tunisian player. Plays for Frankfurt. He was like the top name on the list. Another name on the list was Benjamin Andre, a French player that plays out in Lille. Tuchemeni was the Real Madrid player that they had.
That guy. Let's go get him.
Yeah. Let's
go get that guy. I'm sure Thanks FBref. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Mark Roca, Real Betis. Azor Matusiwa, he's a Dutch player that plays in Reims. Obviously Onana, who's just moved to Villa. A name on the list that you probably weren't expecting to see on the list as a comparable DM to Zubimendi. Wataru Endo is on this list. Youssef, that's a difficult name to say. Nade Ishmiye plays for Nice. Capo, a French player. I don't think he's with a team right now. And Gagliardini, who's an Italian and plays for Monza. Looking at that list, there's some names that stand out. Obviously, Tuchemeni stands out. For those out there that like Onana a lot, I know there were those out there that really liked Onana. I'm not one of them, but I respect him. But I'm not saying I wouldn't have spent the money that Villa had spent for him. But really, not any crazy names on there that I'm like, go out and get that guy.
That's what I was saying earlier on. When people are asking me who's your plan B, it's like this is what kind of talking about people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really. This is where I'm kind of going sitting on it. It's like I can't really trust your scouting department here to have identified players and gone out and scouted, gone out and done the whole thing and seen the
Mhm.
players and come back, done a decision, watch them again, watch more videos, watch them again, yada yada, and be happy to bring them in because it's such a specialized position now. There is no like, it's not like back in the day where it's like, oh, you need a striker, you're not buying a striker. Yeah, I really. I'm really I'm kind of excited to see what we do with this because I'm with Lee. I'd really love us to bring in some guy for 30 million quid who in a year's time it's like, oh, it'll take 120 million to get him off Liverpool.
Right.
You know,
Similar
that's
to what you'd say for McAllister.
Players out there. It's just whether our
Or-
scouts are aware of him. Like our scouting is extensive enough to know who this person is. Like
yeah.
all the players out there who would fit the profile. It's just identifying them and getting them there.
Yeah, that won't be a problem for us. I think we know where our database of players, our scouting, our analytics, they're on top of pretty much everything. It's all about, like I was saying last night, sometimes what it's about is the agent shit. It's you can know all your data and all that, but you mightn't know. Yeah, you might know that there's a particular release clause or that there's a particular deal that can be done. That's where you have to kind of, you might miss out on some player if you're not tuned in that way. So you got to be across everything. You can only imagine how difficult it is for these boys at the moment. I'd love to be in the room, after the Zubimendi deal, between the call between Edwards and Hughes. What were they saying? What were they thinking? What was the plan? What do we do?
Yeah, I think it's there's a meme out there where it's like the guy's in the shower and he's like, he's cursing. He's like, ah. That's probably what Edwards, or at least Hughes, was probably doing, at least because he was. I'm sure Hughes was not happy that his first big move ended up in this.
This was his baby, wasn't it? This was his opening.
This was his
night.
master stroke here. Yeah.
Yeah. His first deal. Well, technically his first team deal.
Yeah.
Come out and do it.
Well, let's get into this. There's been. Oh, sorry.
No, you're cool.
I was just gonna say that this has turned into a situation where now another big topic is Diaz and his boyhood dream club, Barca, because now Barcelona are
mountains.
back in the conversation.
Any nice mountains in Barcelona?
I don't know if there's any mountains to deal with that he's going to be.
No,
I don't know. I don't know because there's some nice mountains in Colombia too. So I mean, but I was looking at it like this though too. Could there be the possibility? This is me thinking outside the box, I guess. If Barcelona want Diaz, then I know that gets Irishman kind of.
When you get outside the box, I get settled in.
Well, I know. Before I even get into it, Nolante says some of the names on the list are different to Zubimendi. Camara for Villa, very underrated as someone to get, but he's injured, unfortunately. Those are the names on the list that FB Ref put as their top 10. Irishman can back me up on this. Normally to kind of get a good idea of a comparison player out there that has similar statistics or skill sets, FB Ref will put a 10-player list together of players that are like that player. And that list that I just included in the chat, that was their list of players. That was their list, not necessarily my list. That was their list that they're saying.
Oh yeah. I can't believe Etienne Capoue is on that list. I would have thought he was retired by now. Etienne Capoue was playing for Tottenham about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
They were that net was cast wide there by the looks of it.
It was. But this is me. This is the question I had then. If Barcelona want Diaz, Diaz
What's
wants
the
Barcelona.
story?
Diaz would accept Barcelona, obviously, because it's his boyhood, club that he aspired to be a part of. But not saying he's not happy, and not saying he doesn't appreciate the fact that he's at a club like Liverpool. But if Barcelona want Diaz, would you have a conversation about a possible swap deal
Oh yeah.
for Frankie de Jong?
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah. I wouldn't mind
Is
that at
that
all.
possible? Or is that something that makes that kind of makes you
Yeah.
sit up in your chair and say, "Okay,
Yeah.
I'm ready to listen"?
I mean, who's paying here? I mean, who's paying? Like, are we giving them Diaz and money for De Jong, or are they giving us
No, it
De
wouldn't be
Jong
that way
and
because
money for Diaz?
I think that they're willing to part with de Jong for
Less
40.
than we're willing to.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, less than there. It's less than the evaluation for Diaz for Diaz.
Yeah. Right.
So
Okay.
De Jong is not a 75 million because they also recognize the fact that you're going to have to pay him once he gets there.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to be set up by
recognize
saying how
that.
much money he makes and the whole nine. If anything, it might be about Barcelona figuring out what is the number on the check they're going to have to pay him to square the money that they owe him. And it also is the equivalent of what he makes or what he would be on. And this is what I was reading in one of the journals out there, is he's making, and you guys could do the equivalent of what this was. He's making 260,000 euros. That would be what his salary would be if it wasn't for the back money owed. So I don't know what 260,000 euros is off the top of my head.
What you mean euros?
In pounds. What would it be in pounds? That's what I was asking.
Oh, about 210-ish.
Okay. So for let's say for 220,000 pounds a week, you could have Frankie de Jong playing for your team. Would you take that? I know Nolante says not for him. I see Trigger says that could work for him.
But also you're losing.
But you're losing Diaz.
So,
yes, and now we will have an issue.
You don't have a left winger.
Right.
You're not replacing him with a left winger. You're replacing him with a center mid.
And that means that we're then saying to Cody, especially, this is your job to lose, basically. And you'd have to possibly find some answer for that position. I personally would like to stick with my yesterday's suggestion and say, let's drop 60 million euros. So that's like what, 50 million pounds around there, around the same price, right? On Kubo and give the old,
Kubo plays out the right, doesn't he?
Give the old bird to Real Sociedad for that one and be like, all right, well now find yourself a new right wing.
Yeah. I'd take De Jong all day. Lee, what about you? Would you take De Jong? Just forget about the other stuff for a second.
Yeah.
Would you take De Jong the player? Because I would.
I would, definitely.
A fit De Jong.
Scott would as well.
I mean, because he's everything we've just described.
Right.
A midfielder that can take the ball under pressure, turn, pass, move the ball through the lines.
We'd have a Dutch pivot, basically.
I mean,
that would be. We'd have or we could have a Dutch pivot. I don't know necessarily if because then we could move Maka up into a 10 role, and then have possibly we could stay with De Jong and Gravenberch in the pivot.
Or De Jong and Mack, and then Gravenberch comes in and out.
Or De Jong and Maka. Yeah.
I mean, I would love that if he was fit. I mean, I would take it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think we'll ever do that, but I'd love us to do that. I would love us to get that type of player. Yeah, he is at what he does, but is he a fitness issue? I don't know. A lot of stuff has
Right.
gone on there. Like you can be injured or be injury prone. Like we know there is a difference.
Yeah.
But in terms of profile, I know he's not on that FBF ref thing, but in terms of the kind of guy, I know Rev, I know that's the only thing, man. But I would a fit De Jong, yes, all day. But do we give him in with the Diaz thing and all of that? I don't know. We talking about being overstacked on the left, and very quickly we're talking about, well, now we've only got Gakpo because we've sold Carvalho. So
Right.
yeah,
But Carvalho too, and shout out to the YouTube name. I think that I don't know if the Magic Mountains would work on Kubo. I would definitely send. I would
oh,
definitely. I'll be. I would. I would certainly send Endo on a mission. I'm like, you want to make good with us right now? I've got a job for you, Endo. I've got a real job for you. Make sure
he's
this
good with
Kubo
us.
does not do a
Endo's good with us. Endo's good with us. I'm sure. Plenty of credit. Look, give him
um,
give him Endo, right? Give him Bajsedic on loan, and then take Zubimendi. Right. Give him
oh
Bajsedic on
wow,
loan for a year.
that's
Give him Endo, and
some
then take
real
Zubimendi.
maneuvering right there. That's some real maneuvering.
Gives him defensive
Okay.
midfield cover. Gives him a young Spanish player. Then everybody gets their mountains. He can bring some photographs and postcards with him. Um,
hmm
and then there's money in the bank. There's goodwill left over. And then, oh, by the way, is that Kubo kid? Is he available? While
hmm
everyone's nice and chummy and pally and getting along well. But I can understand it, like, because we said it last night. Can you imagine, imagine yourself as Real Sociedad? You got an incredible young crop of players, obviously homegrown players, and next thing you know, Arsenal want Marino,
Everybody's in
Liverpool
from
wants Submendo, Real
right.
wants Normand, everybody wants Kubo. It's like, get the hell away from our freaking stuff, like, come on, okay,
Right.
well, we know how the world works. We move one
Right.
on, big money, and then everyone leaves us alone. No,
Right.
no, someone wants Zubimendi, someone wants this, someone wants that. I imagine that was a bigger part of what they said to him. It's like, look, I mean, like, look at the shirt. This stuff cuts deep for these people. We don't really get it
hmm
over
hmm
here. Um,
hmm
it's a part of football that I love. I really love that whole we only sign Basque players thing. And never been relegated from La Liga. I love all
Yeah.
that. I think it's brilliant. So,
Oh, it's
um,
beautiful. It's very beautiful.
but a
Yeah.
guy like Kubo, very, very different story. Very different story. I think
Right.
ready to move up. I'm assuming
hmm
again, but love a tricky winger, brilliant, skillful young player. Can he come in and do it? Yeah, no, that's the only thing. But they're the kind of guys that get you off your seat. The Kubos of this world. They want to take on 2 or 3 players and stick one in the top corner.
Yep.
Bring him in.
Yeah. It's certainly a question. I have a list here. I'm gonna edit it, make sure that it all fits in here. Because you asked, you know, what would you're asked? Were you asking for Frankie's FB ref comparison chart? Is that what you're saying?
No,
I
I
made
think
it in
someone was
case, just
asking
in
for
case.
his injury record. I think someone was saying bring up his injury record,
Oh, his
which
injury
obviously
record.
is
Oh, okay.
which obviously
Yeah.
isn't going to make very pretty reading. But I
No, it's
suppose it
not.
depends
And
on.
also, yeah, it'll also means I got to go onto transfer market, which was like a little bit more of a pain in the butt when it comes to trying to maintain or
Oh yeah, there's
not have
fuzzy. Yeah, 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 yeah. Don't worry
right
about it. Don't
the
worry about it.
glitches and all that stuff. FBref is bad enough, but I did make a little bit of a list here. Finish editing for you guys of the names on here. You know what's surprising about it though is that I know I do love myself some Japanese players. Japanese and Korean players I definitely like. I think because I think that the Asian market is very untapped. It's like it's not. It's got some good players and yet like it's untapped. It's an untapped market. I think personally. you know.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's always been, you're not the first person to say that, and it's been tried a million times, and everyone does say that, and it is a
Mhm.
part of it. Manchester United did it famously with Dongfang Zhu, I think was his name.
Mhm. Mhm.
They brought in the Chinese guy who was never going to play for them, basically, because the
Mhm.
sponsors wanted him to. And everybody does talk about, yeah, it does raise your profile and these things, but when it kind of does and it doesn't. It gives you a little bit of a boost because but we're huge in Asia, you see. That's the thing. Like, we are a huge club in Asia already,
Mhm.
in Southeast
Mhm.
Asia. Not in Japan, not in China, but in Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, and Australia. Um, so people talk about the shirt sales, but I've seen the numbers done on it. It actually doesn't really move the needle, especially if you pay a lot of money for these guys. But what it does do is it gives you a face that you will never see. There'll be ads in Japan and South Korea on their
Mhm.
TV,
Mhm.
which will show a Liverpool player in a Liverpool shirt for no reason whatsoever. You know, just because he's the face of it, and they'll never get shown over here. Those are the
Mhm.
things that it does bring up. But it is great, and it is. But I mean, even when you look at, like, say, Son, there look people like that, like the shirt sales and all that. It does give you a kind of a boost in visibility, but money
Mhm.
wise, it doesn't actually bring that much in because we're already massive over there,
Mhm.
and the shirt sales thing is overblown a little bit. But I'm with you in terms of the players because uh, the
There's a
likes of
Brighton
Son and
player
these
that
guys,
makes you, yeah, Matoma
yeah, they're
should
there,
make
man.
you,
They are there. Like,
yeah, should make you say, not many, he wasn't on many people, he wasn't on that many people's list,
he
as
was
play
on
as
no,
a player,
he was
you
on
know,
nobody's list. They got him from a university team in Japan. He was on nobody's list.
exactly.
Like that was Brighton in a nutshell. But they are there, yeah. But there's players everywhere. But
Right.
then you've got people saying, why aren't we going and getting players from the South American market? You know, why aren't we
Got it.
going and getting
Yeah.
these players?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's I prefer South
I think that the
Koreans.
South American market though is heavily mined by, like, the leagues like
Mhm.
Portugal and the likes,
Exactly,
um,
for obvious reasons.
but for the Asian players, it's not, they don't necessarily, there's not that many Asian players personally, I think, that
No.
are in the top five. If you, I personally think that Portugal is a top five team, a top five league, or if not at least a top six league. If you want to go that, it's right there. But
I don't know. Would you agree with this? Would you agree? I think there's a thing with the top Koreans, the best Koreans,
mhm.
and the best Japanese players can play for the best teams.
Chang
But
Lee is a player I
the
like,
ones,
by the way. Chang Lee is out there. I know M
yeah,
Tarmizi.
but the
I wish we had M
ones just a
Tarmizi in
little,
the chat. He would definitely bring a lot of, like, insight for a lot of the
yeah.
players that we're talking about. But
But
Kang
no,
Lee
what I was
is
just
like,
gonna,
real quick. Kang Lee is basically, he was the player I was talking about before he made his move to PSG. Actually, he now plays for PSG. He's an excellent player.
yeah,
Looked at to be maybe like he's like that. He's like basically the heir to the Sun throne in Korea. Basically, he's like
yeah,
as like the next Sun or the next Messi. He's the next Sun.
yeah. But just quick before I lose, do you? I think if the best Koreans and Japanese players are capable of playing for the best clubs, but the ones that are
Mhm.
in the B tier and they're not. I mean, the drop off seems to be like the Sons and the Nakatas and people like that. Kubos, that they can play at a
Mhm.
high level, but the ones who aren't quite there kind of it drops down a little. It drops down to like more championship and that kind of thing. There seems
Yeah.
to be a bit of a gap. Like the very best can make it, but the secondary type players are only
Mhm.
good enough to play in other leagues. Yeah, but again, I don't know. It's something. I'd love to have, like, from day one, someone like Son. I think he would have got on. Could you imagine how many goals he
Mhm.
would have
I
scored in
mean,
a
that's
club
my
team?
point of, like, if we were to take right, that's my point of, like, if we got a player like, look, I know Matoma is like, we would all take Matoma, for instance. I'm sure, right at this moment with the.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
No, sorry. Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't moved yet.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much he would be for. I'd have to look up his. Let me see how much he would be.
They were talking big money last year. Then he got an injury. I think he got injured, didn't he?
He did get an injury. Let's see how much they're looking at his market value. They have him at a market. Transfer Market has him at a market value of 45 million euros.
Like, I'm surprised Neto got a move. Like, Neto, if you'd said to me you can have Neto for 60 million or Mitoma, I think I would have gone with Mitoma, to be honest with you. Both awesome players. Imagine one on either wing, but I'm surprised no one's come in for him yet.
It says 36.5 or no, 30 million is the number. 30 million pounds is the number that Transfer Market's transfer value has him at, but it is likely to be double that in reality if Brighton opt to sell him in 2024. He will almost certainly be worth more than that figure if he does indeed sign a new contract that runs into 2028.
Oh, well, yeah.
So, yeah, if someone said to you, if someone said, hey, 60 million for Matoma, would you be interested in that?
Well, MK
I think
that
would make yes, expendable in a sense too, especially. But
he's saying I like Matoma, but his age is over. I didn't think he was that old. I thought he was like 25. No.
How old is he? 1 second.
I think he's about 26, isn't he?
Oh, okay.
You're about right.
He's 27. He just turned 27.
Oh, okay. Jeez, I thought he was like 23.
No, I knew he was past 25, but I didn't know if he was 27.
When I heard his age, it was 26, but that must have been, before he turned 27.
Oh, okay. Jeez, I didn't know he's that that old, I was going to say, but I thought he was like a young player, as it were. Okay, cool. Very nice one.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Rev and I pulled it up.
Bernie with some good ideas. I'm gonna start that, Bernie. We can make that into a show for another day for sure.
Yeah. Rev and I just pulled it up there. He was saying he's had 2 bad injuries.
That's for Frankie de Jong.
Injury. Yeah, for Frankie. I mean, doesn't look amazing, but again, I don't know. I still couldn't get past the idea of having him fitting well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Are you willing to take a punt on bringing in a Frankie de Jong that will be playing for a Dutch manager, possibly in a pivot with another Dutch player, and or with Maka as well?
That's an injury record, yes, for de Jong, but as a player, without hesitation, I would take Frankie de Jong without hesitation as a player, because he's fit, wouldn't he? With Slot, I'm sure. Slot would find a slot for him. Slot would slot him in somewhere.
Slot him in for sure. Yeah, Frankie de Jong's one of those players that even when Manchester United originally were interested in going for him, and they were going through the romance of trying to bring him to Manchester, I was like, hey, let's try to hijack that deal. I would have loved to have seen Frankie de Jong be. I think at that time especially, we still were a more even with the levels that Manchester United are in popularity, I still thought that we were at a better stage or place than Manchester United, definitely a more marketable destination, I thought personally.
Just to answer Revan there, no, I wouldn't be willing to take another Thiago because it'd have to be like a Frankie de Jong that's fit. You know what I mean? I'm saying take him as a player, but not with his injury record. No, I wouldn't take him as he is, but not as he is, I would take him, if that makes sense. I'd take him not as he is, but not as he is.
Yeah, I got you. I was already called Drifty yesterday, so it's all good because of my evaluation of the club or of our team. How I'm a little bit higher on the ratings for some of the players than others in our fan base. But I'm just answering what Trap Joe was asking. But
Yeah, so am I. He's saying, Brian, why don't you act like Drifty and Sanderson just for the sake of
that's
entertainment?
Cal. That's Cal he's
Who's
talking about. Sanderson is Cal from
okay?
they're both from Coppish.
What do they do?
Simply because like normally they have like Drifty is Drifty and I can sometimes be or can be on the same page simply because like we're for instance we're both part of what do they call it, the Nunez army, or something like that. Like we're people that are very high on the potential of the player as opposed to those that are anti him, which is Cal. Cal's not, I don't want to say anti, he's not anti Nunez, but he's not very if given the opportunity to move on from him, he would move on from him, I think. But
So do you want me? Does he want me to be Sanderson? Is that what he wants me to be? I can be Sanderson.
I bet you
I'll
could.
be Sanderson. Well, I don't know. I don't. What we supposed? I know. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
No,
don't
just
think
be
I could be
yourself.
Drifty.
Yeah.
Drifty's okay. Drifty just seems like a normal person.
Yeah.
Doesn't kind of. I don't. I've never seen. I'm sure. I don't watch that channel.
Right.
But I've seen bits of it.
No, I get it. No.
But Trap Joe. I mean, why don't you just watch Coppish, dude?
No. Yeah.
But they're at a different
I remember
time.
that's because Trap Joe was the one that actually called me Drifty yesterday, I think, on the show. That's why I'm bringing it up. What I was going to bring up today is something that Lee brought up in he brought it backstage. He also brought it up on another channel. He also, I think, might have brought up in our show yesterday too. But I know something that I was interested in, and I gave him props for saying, is that like Lee said, maybe January is going to be the place and spot that we make a move for this 6, if we need this 6, if like the experiment of utilizing the players that were mentioned earlier that are part of the club does not exactly gel the way we want it to gel, it could be January. Would you be comfortable with us waiting to January, Lee, like you suggested?
For the right player, yeah. I'd rather wait till January for the right player. Take till January to identify the alternative. If it takes till January to identify the alternative to Zubimendi, then I'm prepared to wait. I prefer not to. If we could identify him sooner, I'd be a whole lot happier. But hey, you can't have everything.
Okay. Brian, would you be up in arms if it meant that like we ended up waiting for January, or would it be a case where you maybe say, hey, you know what, at least we're responding to the need or the cause for what we're trying to do?
Well, I mean, I've ended up doing what I don't like doing. I've ended up repeating myself a lot because we're coming back on things. Not like, but like I said earlier on, if it comes down to waiting until January, that's what I can see us doing.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of see it going that way right now, because you very quickly then become right. Okay, the season's already started. Do we bring in a guy? Are we bringing in a guy now, expecting him to hit the ground running? That's going to cost even more. I mean, not saying it's a pricing, but that's now an even going out. That's let's just go and get freaking Chouameni, so and put 120 down and force him to join us. It's like, so I can see it being not true choice. I think we've done this identifying an elite level, high end target, and we thought we could bloody get him. Obviously, like we thought this was in the bag. We did not expect Bob Ross. We did not expect, trips through the freaking mountains and PowerPoint presentations. We didn't expect that.
You didn't expect Bob Ross.
Maybe we should have been. I mean, this one, I can understand rival fans having a bit of a giggle at this. It's not the world's most embarrassing transfer saga ever. I mean, it's not even up there, but it's pretty bloody annoying to have wasted all this time on someone who stays for that, obvious reason. So I think we're right now there going, but even if something doesn't happen in January, then you're talking about next year. Like this is what I'm trying to say. They're all sitting around. I'm not Trap Joe's talking about people again. You have to seriously imagine Slot, Edwards and Hughes are just sitting there looking at each other going, what the fuck just happened? That was done. That was done. That deal was finished.
Right.
We had that guy. We were building it around him, not building everything around him, but he was our guy. He was the one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now, bang, it's over. That's when I said last night, our transfer window just got flipped on its head because we've had to. Yeah, we've had. Now, where are we? Now, what do we do?
Yeah.
We're in a really, difficult situation.
It leaves us in disarray. Really, it leaves our window in disarray a bit, and we might need to reorganize ourselves, like behind the scenes, to get over this, and then see what happens.
And like we said earlier on, through adversity, and all that, necessity is the mother of invention. If we have to keep and hold what we're doing, like all of a sudden, Gravenberch comes in and just absolutely nails down that spot. McAllister and him are, wow, what a double pivot. But you'll still need that one guy. You'll still need that one other guy to come in to flesh out the squad because Thiago is gone, Matip is gone.
Yeah.
People are leaving.
The caliber of those players is not an easy one to replace.
Yeah, the money is there, the need is there, and the want to go and get it done. But it's like I said, we're not shopping in Walmart. We're shopping for a bespoke shirt here. We need something that fits us perfectly, and you can't just be taken off the peg. That's where we are at the moment, and those things are expensive and they're hard to come by.
Bernie's asking either you Irishman or even Lee to sing this comment here for her if you want to get the good vibrations rocking and rolling. Get the there you go. Lee gets pushed out front.
That was sung. That's a Liverpool. That was sung by a Liverpool man in the first place. So there's only one man for that job.
That's for sure. Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. Lee doesn't look like he's gonna give it a whirl either. Okay. We'll try. I'll try to see if we can put something together for you, Bernie, for the next show. But yes, there is another question. I get it that there's going to be pushback. We're not going to get $75 million for Diaz. I get that. That's a high evaluation in a lot of people's mindsets for Lucho. I think it's also just basically like, hey, it's one of those cases where I get a lot of our fan base tend to undervalue our players to the point
quickly
where...
on that one. Sorry. What is this story? I haven't seen it. What is the Diaz story? Because some people are saying City, and I saw Romano put up a thing and Diaz's picture is in it. So I'm like, okay. Like, is there actually a proper deal being done here? I thought this was for
what
Diaz.
Do you mean, for City coming after? Oh,
no, but for what's going on with Diaz? I mean, like people, the Diaz thing, but I don't actually know what is the Diaz thing. I have
heard. I don't know if that was I didn't bring it up because I didn't know if that was a reparable tweet to.
Because I just saw Fabrizio.
I don't
Romano,
see why City would want to go for Diaz.
Yeah. But Diaz is in a Romano thumbnail, basically. That's what I want to know. Why is
Revenite saying that's fake news apparently with that City link. Yeah, City have just denied it. Bernie's saying Diaz to City must be a bluff meme. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I'm like, if anything, I personally do think that I got to ask this question on the Bayesian Red show too, because people were definitely trying to push me for some answers, and they were saying we were talking about how City have some great players, but I'd say probably 5 of their starters get into our team, or vice versa. And that's just me being honest, guys. And that's with, obviously, I had it as Grealish and Doku as the left wing, by the way, not Foden on the left wing. I had Foden as a center, as in the KDB role, as opposed to KDB starting. So when it came to their midfield, I will openly admit that I said that their midfield could possibly get 3 starters across the board, but I would argue for Maka to be a part of that too. I know that would probably rely on taking either Rodri or even Foden or possibly even Bernardo Silva out of that mix. But I think McAllister is a comparable player. He's definitely a player, an elite player in that realm. And then with the back line, for instance, I had predominantly our players playing in the back. I had 3 out of 4 players for us playing in the back line personally. And then I also had, obviously, Alisson over Ederson. So if you do the math, and I obviously had Salah up front getting the nod, and I had Diaz getting the nod up front over the selections that they have on their front. I gave Haaland the shout over Nunez, despite the fact that I think Nunez brings other compliments to the game, but obviously it's Haaland. So, I mean,
Okay, so that was your okay, but so basically, this would say that you think Diaz gets into the City team.
I think Diaz gets into the City team. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but nobody is saying that he's going there, right? But so
no, it's apparently a big story.
Why is he in a Romano thumbnail? Is that because Barca are after him?
That's probably because the Barcelona thing is very real. Guys, and Barcelona are trying to figure out. They wanted to go for Nico Williams, so they really wanted to go for Nico Williams, but because they couldn't get Nico Williams, they're now looking at similar to us. They're looking at other options. Olmo was certainly a big name that they wanted to bring in, but he wasn't the level of. But that's not Williams for them. That's not the player the target player that they wanted. They wanted someone on the lines of a Nico Williams. I get that Nico Williams and Diaz aren't the same age; they're at different stages of their careers. But
no, it's position.
Very
they want a left winger.
Rated. Yeah,
they want almost a 10.
Yeah,
Nico's a left winger, so they brought in a number 10, which is what they like to do. But the whole talk, everything was that it's Nico Williams or bust. But if they can't get him, they'll get Olmo. That's so now they have money to do Diaz. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think so. They can, want it all.
I don't think they have the money to do Diaz per se. I mean, Diaz is he's rated at higher than what was being. It was more so Nico saying that he was going to stay with his parent club. So.
Oh yeah, he turned him down. Yeah, they can't get him. They could have paid his release. Oh yeah, they had the money to pay his release clause all day.
They had enough to pay the release clause. Nico said no.
It's exactly what happened to us with Zubimendi.
Right, but it's not as big. That's not as big of news as
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. They tried to buy him. They had the money for release clause, and he turned them down to stay at Bilbao, a Basque club. It's literally exactly the same thing that's happened to us.
Yep.
We went after him. They went and get Danny Olmo. So okay, now they can. If they move De Jong out with his wages and the money that they would bring in, they could probably bring in 2 players then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we did if we took De Jong off their hands, I mean, they seem a lot of moving pieces, but it could work. It could work. Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of moving pieces. Exactly, a lot of moving pieces. But it seems like there is a want. Now, obviously, Diaz wants to go and play for Barcelona. I think we can all agree with that now.
Right.
And obviously, there is reciprocation there. But that's.
I think he'd be good. I think he'd be really good in for Barcelona too. By the way.
Well, hey, look, if he goes there, good luck to him. That's what he wants. But we can't have that happening 4 days before the window closes. No. Yeah, this can't be one of those things. Like,
Yeah,
we don't want to be
yeah,
like we. This is like Sociedad. Say, no. Look, you don't just come and take all our players. You're going to take one of
right,
our
right,
players.
right.
Time to replace him. So if he's going to be flirting with Barca and they're going to be messing around with him, that's the last thing we need, because they're not the kind of club that'll just come in like Bayern or something like that and just put the money down and say, "Do you want to do the deal?" The money's there.
Oh, they'll do the
Barca will just,
romance. Yeah, they'll try to do
oh,
the romance and
right,
pressure.
yeah.
Yeah, it's and
All
how
the
can you turn
weird
us
stuff.
down? If you don't take this offer now, we'll never come back for you. That kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll be done. It'll be done through the media. It'll be done through this and that.
yeah, yeah,
And next thing you know, Diaz, they'll tell Diaz, you know what you do now? Refuse to play against Ipswich. Pretend you're
yeah,
sick.
yeah,
That stuff, nah, that ain't our world anymore. If you want out, go. Get a
yeah,
deal. Tell Barca. If you want to go, we'll sell you. Tell them to put the money down. If they're
yeah,
serious. If not, you're staying and we're getting on with stuff.
yeah. They did just as Nalante said. They wanted to get Williams and Olmo, but they ended up only getting Olmo, and Nico turned them down. So I mean, like, um, Nico's going to get his pay. Nico's going to get his pay at his parent club, and he has strong ties to that club as well.
His brother is
And
there as well.
was that?
Inaki Williams, his brother is a legend there as well already. Nearly, they're
Mm-hmm.
like they are the Williams brothers, both
Mm-hmm.
African-born players.
Mm-hmm.
Representing the vast country.
Mm-hmm.
That if you go and you dig into it and what it means,
Mm-hmm.
these boys are a little bit special over
Mm-hmm.
there. So it ain't. Yeah, he knows that when he leaves, it's got to be right for him.
I believe I believe they were adopted or something, right? Weren't they?
Yeah. Refugees. They're
Yeah, so
refugees.
that they could become citizens and not be forced
Yeah.
to leave and likes and such.
They represent everything.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. A lot of moving pieces. It's a question that we all have to see where we would go with it. I'm hoping that it ends up working out in the best interest for us. I know that a lot of us out there would be interested in it. There's those of us out there that wouldn't be interested in seeing DeYoung come to the team. I personally still would, even with the injury record that he has. I also know that it would be something that Diaz wouldn't make us think about. Like, he'd be very interested in the deal himself, considering it's the team that he wants to go to. So that's cool, and I'd be okay with that as well as being a move for him. But I'm also more than happy to see him stay at Red, and I would love for him to stay at Red. I think that this is going to be a big year for him, and I hope that he has the opportunity to tell those end product people, those people that question his end product, to go stick it. So I'm hoping for that to happen. We have on the next subject is a mama of a deal I have, and that is the Mamar Dashvili contract or a situation. We had somewhat of an update earlier. I could try to look for it. It's way up there, but I'll paraphrase what the update was saying is that that apparently Valencia has turned down our offer of, I believe our offer was 25 million, and they're looking to hold out for an extra 9 million on top of that. So they're looking to get 34 million for Mamar Dashvili. It certainly is a unique thing in that I don't know what his buyout clause is, because he does have a buyout clause. I'd have to look up his buyout clause here. Let me see if I can find it. But it also means that okay, we still have some work to do on this deal. And the unique thing about this is that Mamar wants to come to Liverpool. He is very interested in coming to Liverpool, as reports have been said. Okay, I can understand why we're not going for his. Apparently, his buyout deal is reportedly up to I have 100 million euros as being his buyout clause.
Yeah, but
Really?
yeah, you see, that's the other thing about Spanish buyout clauses as well, is they're not taken as like that's what we'll sell the guy for.
Mhm.
You know, it's just to stop people coming in
And
doing
yeah,
things. So
yeah.
those, they're not going to sit there and go, oh, give us 100 million, or it's not happening.
No.
That's like if Vinny Jr. has £1 billion release clause, the Saudi Arabians can buy him for 300 million. It does, so it's just, but that thing, it is again, um, I often say, I could bring up your use of the word unique, but this is a unique deal in terms of that this is very much a one-off in terms of like a guy being prepared to do that and go to like that. The deals like that just don't happen. That is genuinely like properly like okay. A club that's prepared to sell him, a really good goalkeeper. He's prepared to come. Nobody else is involved. It is like if we do that one, it's like okay, when's the last time anybody did that and it worked? We tried to do it in Naby Keita, but that wasn't because we wanted to. Like that was the best deal we could get. Was to get him, pay all that money for him, but have to leave him there for a year. This seems like it's actually our idea is to leave him there or leave him on loan for a year.
And he's
Now,
and he's open to doing that. That's how.
of course
That's
he
why.
is. It's
Yeah.
fucking Liverpool. He's playing for Valencia. He's a Georgian goalkeeper. If he plays
Right.
for Liverpool,
Right.
he will be instantly the most famous guy in his country, apart from Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, no.
Playing
Why I was
for
getting at that?
Liverpool.
Why I was going to get into this, Brian, and I want to hear your opinions on this too, Lee. According, it's being reported as being future proofing our goalkeeping position. We know we have a number 2 goalkeeper that would like first team play. We know we have one of the best, if not the best, world keeper in the world in Alisson. But what was funny about this is that, again, this is why it sucks that the Zubimendi thing won, because now there's so much banter being put out there, especially with the circumstances of how the deals went last year for us. It's a whole different backroom staff, by the way, pretty much. And, so it's like a different group, but yet people are still connecting with the same group last year, but all the same. There was on the football terrace, I was on there too earlier this morning, and they had an Arsenal's representative and a City representative, or Manchester Cheaters. Oh, gosh, I keep saying that. Manchester, it's not the Manchester Cheaters. What's the name of the team? Manchester something.
Don't know. They're the blue guys.
The blue guys, something. I don't know. Whatever. Hopefully Manchester relegated pretty soon. But anyway.
The bald dude that does stuff.
Exactly.
He looks like a kind of,
Exactly.
I think he's a theatrical director or something. Wears a black polo neck, very, very Broadway.
Yeah, exactly. Because they had one of their guys on the show, and they were and it was basically, so you have two Manx. I don't even know the other guy's from Manchester, but two Manx, and you had
usually London. They're usually Londoners, basically.
Yeah, because I don't know if Terry is from Manchester. I don't think he's from Manchester, actually.
People in the chat now will tell you Terrace football. Terry Terrace. He's a Londoner, I thought, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he might be from London. His dad is a Spurs fan, I believe. So I would think he's probably from London area. That I know his dad is. I know his dad isn't a United fan. He's a Spurs fan at least. Anyway, they were just taking a piss about our not only our team, but the way that we conduct our, the caliber of players that we've gotten. They were having, they were taking a piss on at Dominic, saying he's the release clause that we paid for him was ridiculous and that he's not even close to that caliber. They said, who else did they take a?
It was a lot of money. If he doesn't come good, it will be a lot of money. But
It certainly is. But
I
I
still
think
he will come good. But
yeah,
you could
he'll come
stick it
good.
out there, and if you want to be a dick, you can put it up and go. That's a lot of money. It is a lot of money.
They tried. Well, they then took a punch at Gravenberch, saying that the 30-some million that we paid for Gravenberch was like ridiculous as well. He's not nearly a talent worth investing in. Basically, it was just funny because you're sitting here listening you listen to this Manchester fan, again, Manchester cheater fan, and you're listening to him like kind of like speak as if he plays or he's coming from the same settings. You know what I mean? Like, that's just weird to me. Like, when you sit there and you hear this guy talk, oh, well, you should have done this, and I can't believe you did that, and and evaluating the prices that we're paying for these players. And I'm like, you paid $100 million for Jack Grealish to sit on your bench for a year. You want to talk about like realistic signings, man? I don't even know what the deal that you paid for. I don't even know all the specifics of the Haaland deal, because personally, I'm assuming, and I'm putting this is assumption and speculation, or whatever legal term that we have to put out there. But I mean, how you got the Haaland deal for what you got for it is like beyond me, because like there's a lot more I think involved that we're not seeing. But who knows?
Yeah, they bought his dad a small planet.
Possibly.
No, they did. They paid the family a ton of money. They paid the family a ton.
Yeah.
No, like the dad basically got a official, like all his, like there was nothing illegal about it, because his dad basically just made sure that he is legally, technically an agent to the player. So he is legally entitled to whatever fucking lump of money they want to throw in.
Right.
But that money, like, I mean, they did it from day one. Like they showed you exactly what they meant from day one when they paid Mancini off the books. Because what they did was they came in and they said, right, so this is the crack, right? So you can only use, we have a limit on how much we can spend. Oh, okay, right. Is there any way we can get around that? Well, not really. Is there any way we can get around that legally? Oh, no, definitely not. Is there any other way we can get around that if we kind of, just stop giving a shit and break the law? Oh, yeah, loads of ways. Oh, okay, what are they? The first one they did was basically the most you can get away with paying Mancini, if you want to do this, is 1.2 million. Okay, call it that. And it's like, yeah, right, but we want to give Mancini 3 million. Okay, right, what you do is you set up a company and call it johnnyschipper.com. Make Mancini the CEO and you pay him 2 million a year. Have you done that? Yeah, it only takes 2 minutes. Yeah, cool, that's done. Boom, there you go. And they're like, cool, so that's how we'll do stuff from now on. We'll set up fake companies, fake accounts, fake nonsense everywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's what they did from day one. So, Alfie England, I think he got like 8 million. If you read certain places, they'll say it was 10 million. That was, like you're saying, they paid legally the release fee. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Mm-hmm. But when you actually dig into it, there's apparently anywhere between 40 and 60 million unaccounted for in terms of that. Yeah, that you could easily add on to the official price for Haaland, but which will never get added on. Between agents, his dad, himself, and numerous other things. But I mean, they've shown us from day one. It's like they told us who they were. They told us they haven't pretended. Fake. Oh, guess what? The company that owns our team just decided to sponsor our team via their airline for £200 billion. That's cool, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this stuff isn't complicated, what they're doing. It really isn't. But Haaland, they talk about what the officially cost about 57 million.
Yeah, it's like around 60 million. Yeah.
Yeah, the off the book price on that is closer to 120.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that's why it's one of those things where you're just like, it's funny. the city guy kept on spewing out all this BS, and then eventually Terry got involved in it because he was like, oh, like Liverpool think that they're a big club, but like, and he's like, oh, this is
think we're a big club.
Yeah, he's like, this isn't a shot against at Liverpool, but he goes on to say, but with Euro, they were involved in the deal, and then when he had his heart set on Real Madrid, a real club basically stepped up and we made it happen, and that's because of our pool and the stature of our club and all these different things. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not. And I'm in the chat saying, trying to bring out context. I'm like, but you not only, because he's like, oh, a lot of people are saying that you paid him so well. You paid him well. He was on 5,000 euros a week or something like that. And now he's making 100 and some odd thousand pounds a week. That's a heck of a freaking upgrade in your pocketbook or in your pocket, man. And like, not only that, he then goes on to say something like, "Oh, make sure I get it correct. I don't like, not accurately giving the what he said, but he went on to say, yeah, that's the only reason." And people say, oh, we want to pay him. It's not just that. I go, no, it's not just that. I end up trying to make sure that he would bring the context, which he never did. I said, yeah, you also guaranteed a player that probably shouldn't be your starting center back, but you guaranteed him minutes because that was one of the big things that he wanted if he was going to go to a Liverpool. And we weren't saying there's a guarantee that you are going to start over Ibu or Kwanzaa. There was no guarantee in that. And we're not in the same level. We're not the same place with our team. For him to say that is disingenuous. And that's why I was like, I'm sitting here listening to this guy spewed all this bull crap about City and their players and our acquisitions. And then he's talking trash on or just telling this false narrative. I'm like, that's not how it works, man. Like, there was so much more involved in the reason why Euro wasn't going to be a red. They overpaid for him. They paid some 60 million. They went well over the asking price for him. Considering Real Madrid offered what, 25 million or something
Real
like that?
told them how to do it. Real showed this guy wants to talk about being a big club. And again, look, I wasn't there, but Real showed you how you do it. You say to a guy, look, you're good. We all know you're good, but you're 18. Right? Yeah. You're 18. You are not, if you're the kind of kid that's at 18 thinks, I'm good enough to do this, I'm good enough to do that, then we don't want you, right?
Yeah.
But then you just go, look, you sit tight, you hold on, and we made a little bid for you, 20 million. Club said no, but look, you just hang tight. If you want to come to the biggest club in the world, Real Madrid, all you have to do is wait a year on a free transfer, and you'll be welcomed with open arms as a 19-year-old. And you're going to the most cutthroat club in the world. So don't even think just getting there is,
right.
That's step one. And that's all big club stuff. That's all serious stuff.
Yeah.
But Man United coming to go bang, just kicking in the door, throwing money at people, pissed on cider. You say, I'll fucking do this. I'll do that. Come here, you. I'll give you 200 grand a week. What the Lille want? 50 million. There you go. We're a big club. We're a big club.
Yeah.
Yeah. FD's Real Madrid just sitting there going, cool, dude. Okay.
Club.
Yeah. You want to do that? Cool. We'll take that. You're telling me he's an 18-year-old center half with a big future. Come on, man. And now United go out and they just throw, we're Billy Big Bollocks. Look at us. We're taking the best young players in the world. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're just being idiots.
Because now, great, you're about to bring in Delict. Okay, so now what does that say to that 18-year-old that you just promised minutes to? Because that's the only way. That's the only reason why he's there. That's the only reason why he accepted the deal was because he was going to get starter minutes. And now I get it.
It's like anybody who's ever played Football Manager drunk will know what this is like. In the
Yeah,
last, like, you play
yeah,
Football Manager and you've had like 7 or 8 beers, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, when did I buy him?
yeah,
Who's and so it was like the last week of the transfer window in Football Manager, and
yeah.
you're like, hang on, and now I've got like, oh damn, and they're like, oh, this guy has just accepted a contract offer. I'm like, oh shit, when did we sign that guy? Where are we gonna play all these guys?
Yeah, it's even worse, Brian. That's you're probably in City's case, maybe even in United's case. That's when you're like buying the cheat where you get the money, the extra money to make the
Oh, the
transfer.
unlimited cheat, yeah, the
Yeah,
unlimited transfer budget,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
You get all the extra stuff on
yeah.
there. Yeah. Oh man, I mean, it's just pretty wild. I think that it sucks because on a lot of those big channels, the names that will be the representations on them will be like your Hassams, or your Tom Littles or something like that that don't necessarily aren't going to necessarily stand up for Liverpool the way that you would hope that they would, at least, or at least try to bring out the proper context when other clubs or other representatives on the panel are trying to basically have a little piss take, basically, because that's what it was, man. I mean, like sitting there
No,
listening to the crap.
those
And
people like
I get,
Hussam, man, they're just Man United channels in disguise.
yeah, yeah.
They realize that there's more views and there's more engagement in negativity and hate
Oh, absolutely. I
than
heard his
anything else.
yeah, his rant I heard was, if you want to, Hyler's asking about my rant. If you want to hear a rant, apparently, I guess I wouldn't suggest going there, but I would say that is a place
No,
where
don't ever go near that
where you
channel.
will be covering your ears for quite a bit of it. Okay, when it comes to rants. But yeah, it's one of those cases, and it was funny again when I heard the City guy talking. At least the Arsenal guy was like, "Oh, we're kind of in the same place with Liverpool and the way that we make our deals and the way that we're trying to go about, signing players and the likes and yada yada." He's like, he at least tried to say that Arsenal is trying to, have some semblance, a semblance of Liverpool in the way that we conduct business, but. Yeah, man, that was just a funny rant. And then the City guy sitting there. There's been reports about how we all remember Manchester City launched an unprecedented legal action against Premier League, which has sparked what they were terming as being the civil war amongst the clubs on June 10th. We're still waiting for that to be finalized because they call it City, describing the PL financial rules as the tyranny of the majority. Okay. And we all know that Manchester City's Premier League legal action puts a £900 million EFL deal at risk because that's what's happening currently. That's why it's such a big deal about what a lot of these City interactions are happening on the Premier League, because clubs are reluctant. Clubs are being reluctant to sign off until they know the outcome of City's situation. If City get their APT thing situated and they can make these ghost, these ghost companies that can quote unquote come out of nowhere and fund all these advertisement deals, at any price they want, all of a sudden that makes you making a big splash of cash different than if you are going to be held accountable to the regulations and the realistic regulations that that Premier League is trying to put onto the league. It's one of those. It's really, really difficult sometimes to have genuine conversations. But I'm glad that we have this forum here that we can have those kinds of conversations. Oh, and Chelsea. Do we have to get into Chelsea, Bernie? Chelsea. I just mentioned Chelsea is interested in Osimhen. This is don't they already have the forwards? Didn't they just pick up a couple of players? And don't they have about 45, 50 players on the roster currently? What are you doing? But yet their name is still connected to João Felix and Osimhen. And you're just I don't know. The Conor Gallagher situation with Chelsea might be like a situation that ends up to really, really mess up Chelsea, because that was one of their big sales. If that falls apart, they'll make something happen. I'm sure they'll sell another hotel, or figure out some way to try to make the books balance. But it's just one of those cases where you're like, there's a lot more involved with where we're at, than just pretty mountains in Spain. Basically, there's a lot more going on for the Prem and for clubs in general. So my rant is done. I know I went off a little bit there because we're now parked on the tarmac. I'm going to ask if there's any questions or any comments that you guys want to talk about. Is there anything you guys want to bring up on the panel here? And if there's something you guys want to get involved in or talk about in the chat real quick before we end up, we'll go for another like 15 minutes here. If there's something that you guys want to talk about, let us know. Let us know now. But
questions in the chat, comments in the chat. Again, it's like I don't like doing. Put your comments in the chat as if we're all just here having a conversation.
Yeah.
It's not like I'll talk about your comment. I hate acting like that. But I don't know if there's a conversation that we could be having, put it in. I know Lee's been a bit quiet for a while, so I'm not sure what
you got bubbling up in that crate.
I've just been reading the comments. I've got my phone on the arm of my couch. I've just been reading the comments, seeing what people are on about. Enjoying reading that. I've heard of the football tennis, but I've never seen it. Never seen it.
It's one of the bigger names out there. I mean, I know that they're like.
Well, if that guy was saying we overpaid for Gravenberch at 35 million, then that's a load of contemptible claptrap. By
that's not a misquote. He said that we overpaid. We overpaid for him. We overpaid for Szoboszlai.
And who was this mug? A City fan?
He's a City fan. Yeah. He's a City fan.
Well, yes.
Yes, that's what it comes down to. And those are the guys that, again, it sucks because like on these big channels, you go and you watch these big channels and like some of the representation, again, it's just like the rage baiters or just the oh wait, I don't even know. I'll put this in the private chat. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this word on there. I'll put that in the private chat. Maybe Brian. Am I allowed
you're cool. Yeah, you're cool. Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just want to make sure. So we have a couple of on some of these channels. I like to call them Liverpool cuckolds. I guess, right? Right? Is that how you pronounce it too? I think it's how you pronounce it.
It's how you pronounce it now.
Yeah, it's how you pronounce it now. I guess, right? Yeah. That'll be a fun one. That's not if you're under 18, please do not go and Google that.
Hey, do not Google Liverpool cuckold. Yeah.
Do not Google that.
I kept saying cook. People calling each other cook, C-U-C-K. I was like, shit. And I knew what a cuckold was. I'd known that for years what it meant, but shortening it to cook, I was like, what are people talking about? And the acronyms on like the internet when I first got online not too long ago, it was like,
Bernie, you might want to step outside for it. Bernie, you're sensitive and you're a classy lady, Bernie.
Oh, I know she's a classy lady.
You might want to. Yeah, we don't want to. I know Bernie's going to get a bit, red faced about this. So we'll move on. We'll move on.
Yeah. Well, I'll give some give some visuals to like kind of take your mind.
Don't give some visuals to that. No. Oh yeah. Sorry.
To Darwin. To Darwin. Just to Darwin.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Just another thing. Just something else to think about.
Yes.
That's
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. No visuals. No visuals of what that term means.
Can you tell me?
But anyway, that's how I see it.
Yeah. Sorry,
Oh
Bernie.
no.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Always pleasure to see you, Bernie. And yeah, definitely have a good night. But yeah, what we have is a little situation where, like, a lot of times we have a little bit of extra going on some of these bigger channels, and even some of the channels that are Liverpool channels. I will openly admit that some of the Liverpool channels sometimes I don't really agree with the direction or the foundation that they try to utilize with the rage baiting and with the and everything else. But there's some channels out there that bring on. You can tell the reason why they bring on the people that they bring on when it comes to representing Liverpool, and that is because you don't want you don't want the guy that's going to sit there and not allow for you to take ridiculous takes at our players, or or sit there and say our coach was never good, or blah blah, like stupid ridiculous takes where you're just like, it's not.
I have a question for Lee, if I may.
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Lee, why do you think that other than Redmen TV and Anfield Rap, who are more kind of now companies, corporations almost, because they're so early in the game, than say YouTubers, why do you think that 99% of the big Liverpool YouTubers are not from Liverpool? They're not Scousers. Because they're all Londoners, all, but like, why do you like Irish, English? Why do you think is there something in Liverpool, and I think there is, that is skeptical of Liverpool YouTube channels? Because, I mean, am I right? Am I wrong? I don't know. What do you think?
That's a very
people there.
that's an intellectual conversation there.
Redman and Anfield Rap have plenty of non-Scousers on.
Oh yeah, but I mean, just if you were to just put them to one side, because they're sort of the big guys, right? I know but other than them, pretty much.
No, there's Frank, isn't there? Frank Carlisle. There's one Anfield Road. It's this ginger-haired lad, I think his name's something like that. It's an Irish name, and Spider's on it with him sometimes. That Irish guy called Spider. I see. He's a Scouser. I think he's from the Whittle, the lad with the ginger hair, Anfield Road TV. But I've seen him on other channels, like there's other ones that I've seen before, like. But no, there isn't very many done by Scousers now.
Right. So that leads me. Is there in Liverpool? I don't know. Like, is there a kind of what's the right word? A kind of a skepticism towards.
It's already it's already getting done very well by others. Like, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really couldn't say.
I think the guy that has Cop TV, he's a Scouser. I do watch his
Alex Gilday-Trott, isn't it his name?
Yeah.
There's kind of Scouseish channels. There's guys, obviously there's Scousers on, but like,
oh my goodness,
there's no kind of big Scouse. It just seems to me that most of the bigger kind of the side channels, I suppose, because we're such an international club. I'm just wondering, basically, like, my question is, because I've just always got the feeling that other than the two guys, that they're Liverpool YouTube channels are seen very negatively amongst the Liverpool fan base in the city, especially the international ones. They're and because we have to remember, there's a lot of people who don't even have YouTube, let alone watch it. They know it, but they don't watch this shit. They know it exists.
I know that they know what YouTube is, but they don't go near it. Like, there's loads of people like that, aren't there?
Quick question too. One, did you see that Cole Palmer got a new deal from Chelsea? He is now on a 9-year deal and will be at Chelsea until 2033.
Bloody hell.
Go for him if he wanted to sign it. Like
That's one of those fucking hell. Fucking hell.
Oh no.
I thought Chelsea's current trajectory stays firm, like, you know what I mean? And it's just a downward spiral, like, of ineptitude ongoing.
9 years.
Sorry
9
for it.
years.
You want to link that
Those
to
deals are
inflation?
dangerous, I think. I was going to say, Lee, and now I'll ask you your opinion first, then I'll go to Irishman. 9 years, fantastic for the player, fantastic for the agent to get him that deal. But those deals are dangerous because when you lock a player up for that long, what's really left to, like, as in you have no incentive really. Like, you're taking care, you're financially taken care of whether you're good or bad for the rest of your life, or not the rest of your life, but could be most likely the rest of your life, depending on how you spend your money. But
no one ever signed contracts that long years ago. There was no such bloody thing.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely
just wild to me. Irishman, how do you have that take too, or is it like is it like what these?
Well,
and again, I don't know how. I asked the question why. I thought the Prem got rid of these deals.
Well, no, you see, that's the thing. You see, that's a player signing a contract
For an
it's already
extension.
at the club. Yeah, so clearly that's not changed.
Mhm.
And we spoke about this the other night. So look, there's a fine line. There's a sweet spot between motivation and all of that. You know how, like, okay, now you're settled and you're secure. You break your leg tomorrow. In 9 years' time, they're still paying you.
Yeah, yeah. Are you in like such a
You can
rush?
never
Like,
play again.
yeah,
You can never play again.
I mean, like, are you in a rush to try to like get back because you know that next contract's the next contract that's going to make or break your, break you, or or that big next contract is coming up next? No,
There can't be anything good about it. There can't be anything good about these things.
Yeah, I don't understand how these are good contracts.
He'll move him if he keeps getting better as a player and Chelsea.
How do you move a player with a 9-year deal though, Lee?
Champions League, he'll probably leave.
You see, they're like it's book value, their assets. This is all about assets and money and assets and book value and all of that.
Yeah,
it works for Chelsea.
Yeah.
It works for them.
Mhm.
Whatever they're doing, it works for them. The guy in 9 years' time could be finished, could be retired, could be done. It wouldn't be unheard of.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is very bizarre. It's really, I don't like what they're doing. Nobody likes what they're doing. And don't get me wrong, an American.
I mean, the players like what they're doing, I'm sure.
But an American person, an American guy said this to me today. An American guy. He said, even as an American, I can tell you, Todd Bowley doesn't get football. He just doesn't get it. He's doing crazy shit. It's like,
I don't know. I'll be honest with you, Brian. I don't think it's Bowley making that decision.
No, but he is huge. I know he's not Justin, but he is actually right at the forefront. Like, someone is right at the forefront.
Who's the other guy? I think.
No, he's big. But it's Bowley is actually, that's his. It is his job. He is the guy. There is a guy making decisions, and he is the one making decisions at that.
I was gonna say there's another guy that's very.
I know, but he's given his job. Bowley's job is, I'm gonna run this shit, right? Basically, they all run shit together, but Bowley is taking the lead, as it were, on Chelsea.
That's no doubt. And then what Nalante said too is like,
but it's not it's not. I know you get very sensitive, but I'm not slagging off you. I'm just saying.
No, I wasn't. That wasn't the reason why I was bringing it up at all.
But this guy was like, even they're like looking at Bowley, going, Bowley, dude, you don't.
I've seen the reason why I brought up reports about how he's like, he has a hand in, like, he's obviously a major partner in the likes as well.
But no, but he is basically the guy who was calling the shot. Like, they all own a million companies, and he's calling the shots at Chelsea. Right. But he's having his great fun. But
Nalante says they done similar deals with Enzo, Modric, Fofana.
But just quickly, Bernie said earlier on, what are they doing is illegal, but we can move past this, by the way. we know none of this shit is illegal anymore, because the second it is illegal, they're getting caught.
Yeah.
That's why they came out and said, "Oh, look, there's some
that's why
shit
they
in our
ratted
book."
on themselves before.
Yeah, literally ratted on themselves, because they're like, "Look, that we moved into the house, we found some shit in the attic."
Yeah. Yeah,
Look at it.
exactly.
You
Some
know,
stuff that's unregistered, some
it
stuff
ain't
that
ours,
looks
but
kind of
it's on,
suspect.
it's on
We just
our
want you to know
property.
we had no
Yeah.
hands in that.
It's on our property, but it ain't ours.
But it ain't ours,
So,
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
you need to come in, because eventually in 2 years' time, you come and look through our hard drives and you find that stuff. Yeah, they got it all
we're not
out
going
in
down
front.
for that.
Yeah, they got it all out in front, because they know
Right.
these days it all goes on the books. It goes on numbers like they do in Spain.
Yeah.
If you hit a number that's too high, you can't spend anymore.
Right.
And it's
Right.
getting that forensic. It is forensic. So there's no
Well, it
hiding
goes
money.
back to what I said earlier too, Brian, about when I was talking about, like, listening to those guys take their little, like, shots at Liverpool. Like, they were bringing up the Caicedo deal, and I'm like, I get Caicedo was a big deal that we missed out on. A player that I think he still could have been a serviceable player. He's a talented young man, and the likes. But I'm like, one of the major reasons why he chose Chelsea was obviously Chelsea had put in the work early, and he had had made his word to say that he wanted to go to the team technically, but it was the fact that he was going to get a 8-year, 7-year deal or whatever they ended up giving him. That was never going to be an offer from Liverpool. Liverpool was never going to give him a 7-year deal. They were just never going to do that.
That's literally the Chelsea thing now.
Yeah.
If you want your...
It looks suspiciously like Bowley's come in with no identifiable idea of how to run a club, and looked at how Abramovich did it immediately before him, and he's gone to himself, all right, we sack the manager every 12 to 18 months. We have a high turnover of players and wish for the best. Okay, let's do it. Let's make it so. And it's just ain't work.
And like everyone says, long may it continue. Long may they keep going from 6 to 8 to 12 to hiring Maresca, to sacking Maresca inevitably.
It's got to be unsustainable soon, the money they're spending. They're going to come a cropper soon, aren't they?
They'll sell, Lee. They'll sell. I guarantee you, Chelsea will be sold within 2 years, max. Chelsea will be sold.
You heard it here first, people. That's an exclusive show.
It's there's no serious interest in that club. If they can't move
save that one for our 5 bold prediction show.
Yeah. No, it will be good if they can't move and get the ground. If there's no Super League, if they can't move Stamford Bridge, I mean, what's their point?
There's
only
someone like
much
value
Todd Bowley will go
out of Chelsea.
Yeah, but Todd Bowley will go and work for someone else. He'll stop working for Clear Lake, someone else, and next thing you know, someone will take over Clear Lake or Chelsea Blue Capital, yada yada, and they go, yeah, fuck it, let's just sell this. Next thing you know, there's no real interest. There's no, it's just a money generating machine there at the moment. A fair play to them, they're just spinning it, buying players, spinning, and they do make money on players. Fair play to them, but. If that's what you're in the game for, then I'm in the game to win titles and watch good football. I don't care how much money you make.
Exactly.
Just put a team out, win titles, and play good football. Let's go.
Yeah. They do go through a lot of managers, and I mean, they're still paying managers money. Put it that way. They have managers that are still on the books technically. Yeah. That's how much they, the uncertainty.
Yeah. How do we get
this the scattershot like basic approach that they're taking towards this football organization.
I need to get me some of that gardening leave stuff. That's what I need. I need to get me some of that gardening leave. Yeah. That's what I like to say. I like the sound. I got a garden. I do it for $100,000 a week and not work for. I need to get some of that, man.
I know. I'm definitely not doing any gardening. I'll be doing some beaching.
Yeah.
But no gardening.
Oh, what a business! That they say it like the best thing to do in the world. Get to a Premier League job and then get sacked as a manager. I mean, it sets you up for life.
Yeah. It's about getting that big deal. But first, just get the big deal signed, and then you're good to go.
I'm not surprised that things didn't go better for Pochettino, given the squad that he did have when he took over.
Did they give him a chance?
We might have him. There's talk in America here now that he might be our U.S. men's national team coach.
Do a lot worse.
Really?
I think that'd be a great move for him, considering. I mean, it'd be definitely a great move.
He knows how to improve players.
Yeah,
he's better than that.
So yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Gordon, Mark Simons, this popped in.
No, Mark, please don't.
Why we mentioned Pochettino, I remember to the Argentinian centre half who took it off Gary Lineker's toe on the line in '86 when John Barnes crossed it to make it 2-2. It was Daniel Passarella, small Argentinian centre half.
Yeah.
Passarella. And he had a brilliant match as well. It was him because I couldn't remember when we were talking the other week.
Yeah. Talking about Argentinians. I linked up yesterday. I remember I said I have a best friend that's is Argentinian, or he's Argentine, I should say, and I haven't seen him since Copa, or I haven't seen him. I didn't see him at the Copa or for the Copa final, and we were talking. It was like, we're all happy to see him. He's one of my best friends, and I got to see him, and I was like, oh, what's going on, blah blah blah, and then the first question out of his mouth was, who are you rooting for, Colombia or Argentina? And I was like, oh man, this isn't gonna go well. This reunion might be a short reunion. It was funny. I kept it straight with them. I told him, I said, my Colombian connection.
Are you luchosexual?
Yeah. My Darwin connection gave me a Colombian kit, so that kind of, that made me happy. Yeah, I'm like, if you'd brought me an Argentina kit, then maybe we could talk. But hey.
What about Mac 10? What about Mac? Hey,
I know. I got Mac. I got love for Mac 10. Yeah, I got love.
Shock.
I've always liked the Argentina kit, the light blue and white.
The Alba Celeste, my friend. The Alba Celeste. Not only is it a great kit, it is also called the Alba Celeste, which is a fantastic kit. The blue and white. It just means blue and white.
Yeah, Alba was
blue and white. I mean, the Romance languages are so much prettier than English. Like, we just say blue and white. They got it Alba Celeste. I mean, come on, man.
No, so
we'd up our game a little bit.
Ages since Argentina have wore it, like from when I first saw them in the 70s or something like.
Kids do that, man. Kids do that. People ask people, oh, why do you support that team, or why do you like that team, or whatever? And back, it's like, 99 times out of 100, it's because you were 6 years old and you saw them wearing a kit, and it's like, oh, that kit looks deadly. Who were they? And that's from, like, other than your home team.
Loads of fans from 1990. A lot of that was the kit because they were little kids when you first seen them. And then in '94 in America, they still had loads of fans. You know what I mean?
Like, that's why I'm an Inter fan. Like, Inter, I love Italian football. I grew up with on Sundays and Saturdays with Football Italia on Channel 4, which is like iconic over here and all of that. It's huge. But I could have fallen in love with any Italian team. Like, AC were the team at the time. But obviously they had like the players. But the main reason I fell in love with Inter is that is one of the greatest kits of all time. Inter in the 90s with Pirelli on a black and white striped kit. That's a perfect kit. So I was like, who are they? It's like, I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. That's what I like. So I'm following them. Who are they? Like, that's where it started. It's like, who are they? I want to know who they are. I saw it. I knew AC Milan.
Shout out to Mark, by the way. Shout out to Mark. Shout out to Mark. But I don't think Liverpool are interested in anything Michael Owen has to say
Jamie Carragher, it's a different story. I get that he's still connected, very realistically with the club, but Michael Owen and Jamie Carragher are advising Hughes on Gordon, so it's a done deal, which means
No,
Diaz
Mark.
is going.
Mark. Now, Mark's been around.
I don't know about that.
Mark.
I'm not saying I'm not. This isn't a knock.
Come on,
Mark. I'm just saying not at all.
No, Michael Owen and
Jamie
Carragher. Yeah, they don't work for Liverpool.
Yeah,
they are not. Yeah, I mean, we're above asking ex-players.
Oh, well,
I mean,
I think we're well above asking Michael Owen.
Yeah, I think we're beyond
that.
I'm not questioning. I mean, maybe that's just like a thing that you read, but I mean, Jamie Carragher is a pundit. Yeah. Jamie Carragher is a pundit and a columnist. He's not a journalist. He's a columnist and a pundit. Michael Owen is a pundit. They do not work for us in any way whatsoever. So this stinks of Twitter to me. He's ringing them up and saying, who should we buy? I mean, we ain't amateur hour FC anymore. That's amateur hour FC. That's been described there. We're not doing that. I mean, Michael Owen isn't sitting there going, oh, I think you should go. Oh, really, Michael? Really? Do you think that? Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Michael. That isn't really, that's clown college kind of shit, man. Come on, Mark. We're beyond that, man. We are not.
Yeah. I just don't think that eases the fan base by any means of bringing in a big name. If you're going to drop 60, 75, certainly not 100 million, which is what the asking price is for Newcastle, and a player that they are working on trying to get a extension on his deal and get him a better deal because he isn't on crazy wages. But yeah, that's just a deal that I don't think really appeases.
Any huge money on a forward. I'd rather we went all out and tried to get Danny Olmo rather than Anthony Gordon. I'd rather see us go for Bruno Guimaraes as a player than go for Gordon, to be honest with you, if we're going through the Newcastle route. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah, he's the only.
He plays in America. No, he's playing in the
Guimaraes.
Thingy.
He's
just asking.
Inter Miami.
Yeah.
Inter Miami. He plays with. He's currently playing with Messi. Yeah. If that I happen to put in a name that I'm very high on. I like this player a lot. Very. He's very young though. He's very young.
Way to go.
He's like 19 years old.
To live up to.
Yeah, and it's a big name to live up to. His dad was a phenomenal player. Yeah, his dad was a phenomenal player.
His dad was.
He has a brother that's playing well too. He has another brother, I believe, that's playing well. But yeah.
His dad is one of those guys that you should go and watch a YouTube video about for half an hour.
Yeah, YouTube name was just saying he remembers his father playing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like he's one of those. Very few people remember him, but he was one of those. Like he was Rodri / Xabi Alonso. That's how good he was. You know, he had didn't really work out for him. He got close to the top level, but he's the kind of guy that you don't really see that much anymore. That real Pirlo, Redondo, like real deep line playmaker that could just real quality on the ball, even close to Rui Costa, these kind of things. Yeah. We don't see that. That's what I was hoping. Like, I mean, I would love us to bring in a
Real Madrid,
like that.
AC Milan. Yeah, Real Madrid player, played for AC Milan.
Yeah. He got injured. Yeah. He got different things, like Fernando Redondo. But he has a classic. He does a Redondo v United Old Trafford. He does a turn. Yeah. It's on YouTube. That's one of the original YouTube clips is him at Old Trafford, and that's not even his game.
Yeah.
It's just like, but Argentinian.
He had two uncles that played too, but his two uncles played for teams that were all They played actually in Argentina though. but they played for professional teams in Argentina.
Fernando Redondo was one of my favourite midfielders of that era by a long stretch, because he was one of the best midfielders of that era. Position in midfield, you could compare him to anyone. So, do you know what I mean? Because he's just so good. But like in that position, like he was just flawless, and like Grimes was saying, like he could do those things as well. Like he did it all. The way he done that at Old Trafford, it was blissful. To see them dump like the United were hopeful that year.
And that's a beautiful Real Madrid kit as well, by the way. That dark navy one with just a goat. That's a beautiful Madrid kit with Siemens just on the front of it. It wasn't Siemens in that one, but Christ, what was the fucking?
I remember the kit though.
Yeah. I don't even like Madrid, but
he could be a great addition. I think he'd be a great addition, but he's 20 years old now. I think 20 or 21 years old. I want to say.
He'll probably go to Portugal or Spain first. Maybe that's the way that you'd imagine it might go. You go to Porto,
I think he's utilizing the time to be playing with Messi and to enjoy Miami. And
I hope he is. You ain't going to get to do it many other times, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what life is like for the boys there in football. I imagine they have a nice life. They don't like they can go. It's not like like we say about the footballers. That's why one of the major reasons why they love going to America on holidays is because even like a famous footballer in the Premier League, a lot of them, they can just walk through. They can just walk down the street in America and nobody knows who they are. So they can go to Vegas. They can just act like young lads and do their own thing. Over there it's just much easier lifestyle. Like you walk down the street in England, Jude Bellingham buys pint of milk, front page news. Whereas you walk down the street,
we can get him for that's the thing that sucks about it. And again, I know we're on the tarmac here. We're just talking. I got the cabin door open, chilling with one out there in the Mighty Reds
decompressing.
Army.
We're decompressing.
Decompressing, yeah. His market value, for instance, is like you got to consider too. He's at an MLS team, so it's not like you're going to have to pay an arm and a leg for him. But his market value is currently at like 9 million euros. So that's what, like 5 million, 6 million pounds, right? I mean, if it's for me, I was like, if you could tell me that we could go and get Redondo for 5 million pounds and at least have him as a player, as an option, someone that we can further develop,
To me, though, quick question: is he better than Bajcetic? Because he sounds very similar.
He's looked at as being like I put in there. The articles that you might come across.
No, I just mean to you. No, I was just asking you personally. Do you think he's better than Bajcetic?
I think he's equivalent to. It's only tough because like
kind of either or. Like it's kind of
it's either or one. The only reason why I would go with giving him maybe a little bit of the benefit of the doubt is because he hasn't had the injuries that
No, but I just mean in terms of ability.
Yeah, ability wise, I think he has. They're equal, if not. They're very equal in ability. I don't know. I might go with.
Stefan's done it in the Premier League, so you'd have.
Yeah, I would go maybe because he has. Yeah, done that.
So, yeah, they just seem like very similar. But it's just I mean, everybody loves a sexy name, right? Redondo, that's a sexy name.
That's what that's
come
what YouTube
on,
was saying.
We're very base. We're very base as football fans. We are. People get criticized. Oh, do you want these sexy names, these sexy footballers? Like, yeah, a number 10 called Ronaldo. Who want sounds great. It's come on, leave us alone. It's good. But
he played for the Argentinos Juniors, not the Boca Juniors. But he played for Argentinos Juniors, and then he also
McAllister's team.
He's a player that
McAllister started. Argentinos Juniors is where McAllister started, and that's where plenty of teams. I think that's where Maradona is. His first team is Argentinos Juniors.
They're a good team. They're a good team. It's not. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not River Plate or Boca Juniors, which are the two.
But they're the one that you step
when you
up
think
to
of Argentina
from
football. But
Yeah, but they're the one. Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're one of those teams
Easy.
who like those teams take the those teams get great players from. They're a real like
From there.
Argentinos Juniors. Yeah, they may be tiny, but brilliant players come
Mhm.
through there. I think Gago is there. I think it was, Maradona was
Yeah.
there. I mean,
And on
come
top of that, like what I was saying is like if you were to get an article about him, they would say possibly that he's looked at as being like the next Busquets, but
Yeah.
which is high
Yeah.
praise. That's very high praise. So
Yeah.
but that's what it's looked at. That's what he's looked at back in Argentina, at least.
The type of player. Yeah, again, it's all about profile. You know, they can
Mhm.
become like I used to do that as a kid. You know, look, I can't help being older and being not cynical, but more realistic. So it's kind of like back in the day, I would have gotten more like, oh, this guy, this guy, this guy. But now it's like, okay, tell me, what does he do? How does he play? It's like, okay, we can use one of them.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's like,
certainly.
okay, you know, it's
Certainly.
not, like some people, if we don't get X player, we're done, we're dead. It's like, come on. I'm old enough now. I know there's like 10 or 15 guys out there that can probably do a job. But it's all about profile. So you tell
Yeah,
me he does this, he
absolutely.
does this, and he does that. That sounds good. Good on the ball.
Maybe hopefully it's
You
all
know.
about frost tips for Diaz.
Well, I mean, can you spark a new haircut craze? Is definitely number 2
Number
on the list
2.
of things
I
you
mean, we
bring. Yeah,
saw what happened
yeah.
when Nunez did the
Yeah.
man bun, and when he did the
Oh yeah,
the braids, the French braids and everything. How that changed up a lot of people's conception of what he was going to be doing on the pitch, and yeah. But I don't know. Maybe he had a conversation. Maybe Diaz had a conversation with Bobby, and Bobby said, "It's all about the frost tips, brother. It's all about the frost tips."
yeah. I think if within 2 days there aren't a load of kids walking around Liverpool city centre with your haircut, you failed.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
you
care
go.
if you get to
I mean, Lee's about
I
to
don't
do
care
it.
how many goals you get. Lee will tell you.
Lee
knows. He
All right.
knows.
Are you going to get the frost tips? You're going to do the frost tips here that Diaz is rocking?
Only
You
the
should
best
rock.
players.
Don't think so. Like
No?
that. Like no.
As long as you don't do the Foden haircut, you're all good, I think.
Because it's all one colour, I don't mind an air change colour, but like having it different ones, it's a bit weird. Mind you saying that?
Colors are a thing now, aren't they? Like girls are going blue and red. I know it's a bit
Yeah, blue,
but
pink, red. Yeah,
colors is kind of a thing now. It's only a matter of time before guys start doing it, and I mean straight guys, basically, is what I mean. You know,
Yeah. We get your gist.
I mean, there's lots of guys that are out there dyeing their hair, is what I'm saying. But until it gets into the mainstream,
whatever floats your boat out
mainstream.
there, make it happen. Make your life.
Yeah.
You can only live this life once, so make it
Well,
happen.
look, you're a rich footballer. You do nothing but play football. You're going to get bored. If you got hair, you're probably going to dye it at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you've nothing else to do.
That's what Neymar did immediately. Neymar did that.
You get tattoos. You could. I mean, you're sitting around all day, every day, being told when to eat, when to drink, when to train, when to go to bed, when to sleep, when to show up for training. I mean, the only time you get to express yourself as an individual, because you wear the same uniform every day, you all show up to work wearing the same top, you go to work wearing the same uniform. The only way to express yourself as an individual is tattoos and hair color.
Tattoos and hair color. And hairstyles, yeah. Hairstyles, hair
Oh,
color.
I'm sorry, JK, if you're listening. Pink boots. I'm sorry, JK.
Yeah, and pink boots, and maybe
and the pink boots. But that's really it, isn't it?
That's about it.
You're all told. Look at them all there. They're all basically wearing the same uniforms, like an army or.
Everybody wants to stand out. Basically, I mean, like it's all well and good to like kind of you want to fit in, but you also want to stand out as well, especially when it's all about branding and social media and yada yada.
No, that's a very good point. Like you just said, you want to fit in as well, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good, because you also want to fit in, because you also want to say to the lads, oh no, okay, I'm not an outsider or anything.
Right.
That's also, you have to be an individual, but also fit in and say, no, I'm part of the team. I'm not like one of those don't talk to me type guys. That's a good point as well. How to fit in, but also show your individuality. And say, I'm not a robot.
Yeah. Well, friends and family out there, my Reds, we are going to end the segment here. You almost got about 3 hours of entertainment, hopefully, or enlightenment, or just a little bit of serenity, maybe. Hopefully, it was a little bit of serenity for you, especially from the other channels that we're talking about out there, or the other forums and the likes that aren't exactly so zen-like at the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna allow for the Irishman to say his last words of what he wants to say to you for today.
If because of this stream, if just one person has taken up painting, it's fantastic.
Then we've made a difference in the world.
Made
We've made a
difference.
difference in the world.
Made that difference. Happy clouds, people. Happy clouds.
How about for you, Lee? What do you want to say to the people?
Always keep hope alive. Always kindle a little spark of hope within yourself, like, about the football and that. Like, yes, we've had a bit of a knock, but let's not be idiots about it. Like, let's just take it as what it was, like a player turning us down and move on.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world.
It's not. I mean, realistically, it's not. When you really think about it, think about the people around you, what they're trying to project, what they're trying to bring to the fold. I hope that you enjoy what we're trying to do here. Hope that you share what we're doing here with others. Bring them in to this circle for sure. And yeah, we push on, just as Lee said. We walk on, and if anything, you know what, we don't walk alone here. So it's important that you always remember that. So yeah, as always, I'll just end it by saying, up the Reds, people, up the Reds, and I hope to see you tomorrow. All right, take care, guys.